by knowing what maps we're going to play on. So we'll bring up the map, Vito, us back on screen as well. Say hello.
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 Cheese.
So Consulate and Coastline will be our two first bans, Michael.
Yep.
We'll see Bank get picked by Liquid and Clubhouse get picked by Mantis,
We'll have
interestingly enough.
Border as the decider after Villa and Oregon get banned out. So here we go. Bank, Clubhouse, Border. And I think it'll be Clubhouse first, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be an interesting split.
Would it not be Bank first? Because
I honestly,
isn't it?
I think I want to say it would be Bank first, but I've been proven wrong today. So I'm just
Michael, I am
going with the flow.
0 for 2 on my picks today.
Oh yeah.
I had Ninjas in Pajamas and Rogue both making it to the main stage on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't bet, so I haven't lost any money.
But you're wrong.
But I lost pride.
A little bit, just a little bit. I mean, it's not that bad. So it's going to be Bank first, and it's just confirmed in our ears.
Bank confirmed.
Yeah. And we'll have an interesting map to start things off. Typically a Latin American map, something we have talked about in the past, but not always something that holds true. I mean, we just saw in Immortals versus Rogue on Bank, Rogue managed to win it 7-3. But it's also that is hands down Rogue's best map. They have a really good record there, 4-0-0 on Bank in recent history through the qualifiers and Pro League. So, and that's their best record for any map period. So whether they know it or not, they do well on Bank. And so that might just be a standalone example, but generally speaking, Bank is a LATAM map, period.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how Mantis is going to do on it. I'm curious about a lot of things, Michael.
I'm curious about things too, Parker. You know, I think that curiosity is a really important part of life.
I heard that it killed the cat, though.
You know what's cool about being not a cat?
I couldn't even possibly imagine where you're going to go with this.
Oh, I already dropped it. I thought it was implied.
It's awkward.
So,
it's just awkward.
Mantis has played Bank through the qualifiers, and they won it. That's it.
That's
all we have for them on Bank.
Korea's actually been quite interesting because I don't think a lot of their Pro League has actually been played.
I don't know.
I think they're down to only 4 teams or something like that in Korea, if I remember.
It's complicated. I know it's a very, very complicated situation with all the sub-regions in APAC, and
yes,
it's one of the things that has always made it really confusing. The sub-regions limit a whole lot of potential in APAC, actually. There's a lot of teams that just straight up can't... Like, if you're in the Korean sub-region, you can only take players from, like, there. It's the same thing with Australia, right? You're very, very limited. APAC's got a really, not a great setup for growth.
Well, it's a geographically challenged region, right?
Exactly. Like, the Australian teams tend to scrim against the Japanese teams, and that's 180 ping for one of those teams, right? That's crazy, and that's your closest scrim. So, yeah, APAC has always been kind of screwed. Like, if we're being honest, they get really... It's not a good situation for them. Anyway, moving on. In this match, we will finally load into Bank, and it'll be Mantis starting on defense, thus the first ban, and it's going to be Habana.
All right. I feel like a lot of the Brazilian teams love to ban both Habana as well as Echo, but Habana being
Habana. I love it.
I'm thinking about Cuba, my Habana Knights. No. Liquid and a lot of Brazilian teams love banning Echo just across the board. Additionally, with the Habana ban coming out from Mantis, I mean, that's pretty sensible. You don't want to leave all 3 hard breachers available for Bank. You just don't.
Yeah, and Team Liquid themselves have never banned Habana in this season through the qualifier, so that is worth noting. That's something they just don't do. Mantis, on the other hand, it's their second most banned attacking operator. We see Montaigne taken out by Liquid, which is a common ban for Liquid. Echo as well being taken out, which is Liquid's most banned defensive operator. And yeah, I mean, so far that makes sense. Maestro is the last one. I mean, does that surprise anybody? No, it does not. So, pretty standard set of bans here, considering the map and considering the teams on this map. No Echo Maestro is pretty common, all things considered. With Mantis starting on defense. You could say they have a little bit of an advantage, though we've seen throughout this tournament that the attacker-defender advantage, no matter what map you're on, has been not that big of a factor, to be honest. And it's definitely worth talking about, but it hasn't been the dictator of outcomes so far, at least today. Basement, the first round here. And we'll see how they set themselves up. They've got 3 C4s, no gas canisters from the smokes, because there's no smoke being played. They are going to be bringing in Ella, which means they're relying on defending the stairs. Server trying to delay for as long as possible.
10 seconds left.
Yeah. All right, well, this will be really interesting to watch and see exactly how you're going to bait out all this plant denial.
Attackers have recovered
On
their
Liquid
diffuser.
side of things, I mean,
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
NV Taylor's going to play the Ella strat on server stairs, but is he going to be helped by anything? That's the real question. Neska's wasting no time, just sprinting into the garage.
Wait a minute, what?
There goes the mirror
Is
window. Neska's, oh, he's right there. He's going to drone in. He realizes there's nobody in garage. Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Is this going to work out?
He's just walking right in. There might be a mirror window.
I hope there's something watching this. The mirror window's
This
open.
is a very common drone.
The Twitch drone got the mirror window.
Gohan opened it up earlier on, and that drone that's up there that we just saw from Nesk is a very common drone that Nesk has used a couple times. Bye-bye Sweet Black as Palu takes him out. Say goodbye to the Valkyrie playing on the top of the server stairs. And that's going to leave Nesk to possibly push on up over towards the mirror window. But it looks like he's getting spotted. There could be a Valkyrie camera positioned somewhere in there. Just given information to Nelio to be able to play that ejected mirror window and watch Nesk all the way down in the garage.
Still going for Liquid. They have so many advantages right now, but they're not using any of them. Waiting for the opportune moment. This is typical of Liquid. Nesk seems to have given his position away as he reloads. That must mean he has fired. And thus, the enemy must know he's pushing from here. The Gshmat's going to confirm it, though. Oh, what a down. The shotgun from Ella. And NV Taylor will clean that up with the pistol.
Is that a one-shot with the shotgun at that range, Michael?
But it's a 3-speed. I'm not terribly surprised.
She just came out of there like a bat out of hell. Just absolutely vaporized Nesk. I believe sent him into the stratosphere was what Robert Flynn said on the cast previously.
Yeah, he likes to say that. It's a good one.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Into the atmosphere, into the stratosphere, etc.
In
So after NV Taylor got that kill, he's managed to get back into the site. The safety of lockers, of which none is reinforced, so this might be a tough proposition for him to play in. Seeing what little is left of that breaching torch, Sexy Cake to open things up, and well, you've already got that mirror ejected. You should know that. Should have been called at least earlier on by the Twitch. So just a nice cross-section to try and open as much up as possible and then send down a stun grenade, maybe to assist the rest of his team, as the Jackal track will give away the position of one defender down below. Not much utility to be had, but NV Taylor just comes out of nowhere again and just gets a massive kill on Palu. Gohan takes out Henny, but it's a successful diffuser plant, and Nova not able to relay that information onward. Blood is UMP and take down Zig, and well, Liquid's kind of lost the plot at this point. Gohan holding server stairs. This could potentially be a very difficult retake, as the other body of Liquid, which is Sexy Cake, sitting upstairs watching over the hatch. Sexy Cake will cut down Nelio. The Claymore is spotted. There's NV Taylor looking for a third. He'll pick it up. He needs to grab that diffuser, but it's in a perfect position. A counter diffuse and a C4 gets tossed up, trying to do covering work, and Sexy Cake is missing.
Wait.
Sexy Cake, there's a second left.
Sexy!
No! Why, Sexy Cake? You don't see it. Oh, my. Might have been in the body of the thermite, but from our perspective, not. And that's the first round going in favor of Mantis FPS.
I'm not mistaken, bodies are client side, so it's entirely possible it looked different there for him. I don't know, though. I mean, either way...
Are they on land, though? That's the real question.
I have, honestly, Parker, not a clue. That's something that we cannot confirm. So I suppose I should technically retract that statement. I just don't know. But
I don't know, Michael.
But that's a really unfortunate circumstance for Sexy, no matter how you look at it. There's no way that Mantis should have won that round. That was a pretty clear-cut win there for Liquid. They got the plant down at a great spot. Sexy was in the perfect position to deny a disable. but he messed it
Bomb
up.
located by attackers.
He just messed up, man. It happens. It happens quite a lot, more often than you would think. And no, we're gonna see a basement of the top floor, Parker.
Oh, is that how they?
Yep.
Is that how they maneuver it, Michael?
Yep.
Okay.
They're gonna basement the top floor, and they're reinforcing it right now,
5
getting
seconds
set
left.
up to. Okay, I can't do it anymore. They're gonna defend the top floor.
Attackers recovered the bomb.
Brought a
diffuser.
castle.
Attackers are moving
Castle's been
to defuse
very
bomb.
potent on this top floor, especially as it allows you to play many more angles than you would normally be able to. It's going to be a very important thing for Liquid to try and counter going into this round. And Nest is actually going to be pushing down into Garage, so there is something to be said about rushing Garage as a 3-speed, especially with the pistol. You run a little bit faster, eh? But I don't know if this is going to work out so great for him. That was a huge assumption, and that's the most important thing. That's what I'm trying to get at here is, if he had been punished, one person playing in Garage, one person playing on the main stairs, and Neska dead. He accomplishes nothing in that round. But because he got away with it, now he has cut off a rotation. In fact, many rotations from the main stairs. This is potentially a very powerful position for Nesk to be playing in.
This is always something that's fascinated me about Liquid, is how effectively they're able to find these openings for a player of this caliber in Nest. They added somebody very similar in Gohan, but it's a different style of aggressiveness. Gohan does get the opening kill, immediately traded off, and Nesk, he's just in! Nesk pulls it out of nowhere, gets the call, and Zig, credited with helping his teammate. Nelio, despite the bobbing and weaving of Palu, will be able to equalize back to a 2v2 with Sweet Black and Nelio still upright. Half the round to go. A very quick pace, I would imagine, we will see from both of these teams over the course of this entire match. Not just on Bank, but also the other 2 maps that we have to go to, providing we make it to a 3rd map. Nelio is anchored down inside a janitor closet watching the main doorway, and Sweet Black looked also to be over on the conference side of things.
Still plenty of time for the remaining 2 Liquid attackers to make this round go their way. Exothermic charge is also available. Impact tricking? Ooh, what an angle if he can hit it. He goes for the longer one, but just barely misses it. A nice try from Emilio, but a little bit too behind. Doc's gonna be called out. He's behind a mirror window, though. He has the advantage despite being spotted. He can still use the mirror window to win the fight. Because the castle is inside of storage, there's a great crossfire here between the dock and the castle. And time is really running out for Liquid. They have to get one of these 2 defenders picked off. The extra...
I was going to say, I mean, they have so much utility, and it's a good read from Zig to take out Nelio. Sweet Black will try to recover. He's very far down, playing over inside a front desk, looking at multiple bodies coming in through one angle, and Zig drops. So goes the diffuser too, and Sweet Black will rotate on out. Just through a rotate hole and heads back on in as there are pings going down. Spray through the wall, Sexy Cake will get Zig back from the dead. Sweet Black is just waiting. More pings, get the combination, but you can't hit through the bomb chassis. No, Zig gets away with the plant going down, and you still see those red marks as they will persist. Sweet Black has time to stim pistol himself if need be, give himself an extra 40 HP. Trying to hold on with that MP5, which is slightly lower damage, Michael, but still close enough. I mean, that desk is somewhat penetrable. It's going to be Sweet Black trying to take one of the bodies out. Burning the ADS, but no, Sweet Black doesn't have the information, and it doesn't matter whether the utility is dumped in from Sexy Cake, as Liquid will make a very graceful recovery on the CEO and take the site with 2 members still alive and put us back to a 1v1 game.
Gotta be honest.
A 1-to-1 game.
Yes. Gotta be honest, guys. A little bit too much trepidation from Sweet Black there. And if he had just committed to a play, he very easily would have been able to bring that round back. He had what was necessary. He was playing the angles properly. He managed to get the down, whether he knew it or not, but he never fully committed. He was too behind the curve in terms of what was actually happening on the push in through CEO. And the real kicker, the ultimate insult to Sweet Black losing that round, the constant pings. Information from his teammates. He knew where both of the attackers were throughout the round, and he just couldn't make it happen.
In his defense, the ping that he was getting was perfect, and the angle he was holding was okay, but the bomb was in the way. That was it.
Actually, he had an angle where he could have shot the player.
I mean, he could have, but
It doesn't.
He doesn't necessarily.
It doesn't
know.
really matter. I wasn't talking about that situation in particular. I mean, there were many other circumstances where he could have made a play and instead decided to just play it safe. I mean, it doesn't really matter in the long run. The round's over. Hindsight 2020. But yeah, Sweet Black was a little bit too cautious.
10 seconds to insertion.
In a 1 versus 2 or a 1 versus X situation, you need to make plays in order to equalize. You need to start bringing that man count back in your favor, no matter the circumstance. That's just kind of a universal rule of a clutch. And Sweet Black never committed to anything in particular. And that's what he's being critiqued for, from me, personally. And yeah, okay.
A bomb has been located.
He made a judgment call. It was wrong, but that's as it is. By reception, nobody. Ness going to just spray in through the window, trying to break it. Open up some angles for potentially his teammate. He could have actually just gotten a kill just now, but he doesn't know it.
What's CEO's? I was going to say, what's CEO's pick rate overall? As it's surged in terms of popularity, but it still trails Teller's Archives.
Still one of the more played maps, though, right?
Well, I mean, it trouncers open area in terms of play rate, but it would be interesting to have a regional cross-section of all the different sites. I feel like North America tends to play CEO an awful lot. A lot of that goes to credit towards Dark Zero and both Evil Geniuses when they come to this map. There's a number of different ways of playing it. We've seen previously somewhat of a ballsy strategy from G2 as well by reinforcing one of the panels just to the left of Sweet Black. This is the wall that leads into the main lobby, and then having, you know, Kanto play on Echo or something along those lines.
So CEO is tied for second as the most played site on this map. Lockers is the most played by far with 47 total rounds, and CEO 27, Tellers as well 27, but it also has the lowest win rate with 55% for the defenders.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so it's played a lot, it's lost a lot, but it's still a good site with a 55% win rate, just the lowest win rate on this map. That is, again, for the defenders. Anyway, CEO's second time here for Mantis. Hopefully for them, second time's a charm. The CEO walls are already opened up. It's good control for Liquid to have both of the exothermic charges going off. No impact tricking whatsoever. They're going to be able to smoke and plant if they want to. Valkyrie cams still in play. Mirror windows still in play. But the control is in. That's the most important thing for Liquid.
I think it's a bit strange here. As we see the Jackal dump in these smokes to be able to cut everybody off, and a good read by Ness, but oh no, he gets out-dueled by Nova from behind. That's going to be Neilio down, look to be down from a team C4, as Palu is going to just watch and wait. Man, just to take out Nova. Sweet Black goes down, and Liquid are once again going to lock out CEO. And there you go. Every single member of Liquid getting in on the action there, it feels like, and Liquid will run away with that round. But Michael, I got cut off, so I wasn't say it before the slaughter started. We now have 3 rounds where Liquid has been able to pull off 3 perfect executes. 3 diffusers down. When you compare that to the match that I casted previously, in NIP Reciprocity, by my count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There were 8 diffusers planted through that entire matchup. There's already been 3 so far, and we're only 3 rounds in. A lot of that was just that it was more of a pugilistic style between both NIP and Reciprocity. They took
bringing out the fisticuffs.
They went to fisticuffs.
Mm-hmm. I think, to be honest, this should be a 3-0 right now.
Okay.
We're going to take a step back.
Okay.
I do think that Sexy should have been able to shoot the player disabling the diffuser downstairs. And that's the only reason that we have Mantis currently on the scoreboard. Because he didn't shoot it.
Right.
Didn't shoot that leg.
I would love to have known his perspective, because that's actually a question that we don't
have the answer to, you know.
At least not one that is readily available to us.
Did he see the leg or did he not see the leg? That is the question.
You know, laces out, etc.
Yeah. So, basement defense again for Mantis. Yes, they did win this, but no, it was not a decisive victory, and it is likely that Team Liquid are going to have a little bit more success this time around, considering what we've been seeing from Liquid and Mantis both in this match. It seems like
Attackers' objective
Liquid
is to
are in
locate a
control.
bomb and defuse it.
We'll find out, though.
I mean, it's Bank. It's typically a fairly even matchup. I mean, we've noted and talked about it many times how the win rate has trended so far, and Bank's win rate as a defense has soared.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be and was statistically the most balanced map. Not really so much so, you know, anymore. But that's also because we're in a defender-sided meta. 55 to 45%. Need we remind you every time?
Bank has become, though, oddly enough, like you said, it used to be really balanced. It has become the most defender-sided map, period. And with a 60% win rate for the defense, that's pretty crazy. Or 61.5%, pardon me.
Repeating, of course.
Yeah. Nova's going to be using his shield here to great effect, slowing down the Thermite. And that's a little bit of damage done to Zig. That's nothing too terrible. It's just a nuisance, to be honest, overall. The basement being the defense, it's the most played site for sure, but it's also the second to worst.
Mantis FPS won this site last time, as you noted, when Sexy Cake was unable to kill the one person on the team of Mantis that was getting the diffuser. But Envy Taylor was using his utility a little differently. They had the Ella stacked up inside a garage to try and counter a rush with Nesk, should that happen. Yeah, it was a bit confusing. That's okay.
Wasteful.
He's got it now.
So you can actually open up 2 drop-downs with Maverick, and we've seen multiple teams do it actually before. But if you miss as many as Sexy Cake has just missed, then you cannot open 2 drop-downs. Like you got to be really efficient with those blowtorches, but not gonna happen here.
Wow.
Another shotgun kill.
Envy Taylor still playing on the stairs. He's gonna look for another. Just go right over the head of Palu, and Envy Taylor gets felled. Now this is something that was unable to happen on Liquid's side of things, which was kill Envy Taylor early on.
Yeah.
Envy Taylor on the Ella was playing over by the garage if Gishmat's available, and could also just simply wait for the push in from garage. As we mentioned, Nesk being able to sprint on in, but you got Envy moved up to the main stairs, or the main server stairs rather, not the main stairs themselves. It's gonna have the Clash be tagged in now, and Nova's gonna move to the forefront just to try to watch the drop, and Nesk is gonna confront the Clash, and it's gonna be a joint effort. No, Nesk feasts on 2. Not credited with the kill on the Nova, but there's Nelio going down in the midst of the smoke. He'll sprint on in, takes out Sweet Black, pulls out the pistol, and there's only one body left as the diffuser gets planted a 4th time. 4 rounds for Liquid. Heady snapping on the heads. Oh! He gets a beautiful double kill, and Sexy Cake and Palu are so low. Very winnable, but Heady's position known, and he'll have to play against the ejected mirror window. Using the precision of it at sight, and the small magazine size of the Vector, this could be a big challenge. Playing around the bars, trying to free himself from the prison in which he lays, but it's Palu to get the very final kill. 4 successful plants for Liquid, 3 of which net them the round. And we will go to the 5th round with Team Liquid in a commanding position so far.
Not only are Team Liquid in a commanding position right now, Parker, but on top of that, the way that they've been playing, it almost seems like they're not taking their enemy seriously. A lot of these strategies, a lot of the ways that they've been playing, they've just been throwing bodies at the enemy, winning fights. And that's something that Liquid are very good at doing. And I think it's a calculated move by Liquid. I retract my previous statement. They're taking Mantis seriously, but it's a calculated move in that I think they have sensed the weakness from Mantis, which is if we just rush in, if we just take the fights, we can outduel them. Liquid are certainly proving that to be the correct answer so far. Again, up 3-1, but again, a round count that should probably look more like 4-0 right this second. This is the last attacking round, if I'm not, or second to last attacking round, pardon me, for Liquid. So we're not quite to the end of this first half, but we're getting there. And right now, Liquid are looking very dominant. Again, on the most defender-sided map in this current meta. And if you end an attacking half with 3 wins, you've won that half on this map.
Yeah, I'd say that Liquid, no matter what, has put a pretty good argument in for winning this first half. I think you're right on that one.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser. Attackers objective.
This is something that happened yesterday in the matchup with G2 and Mantis. G2 tried playing really slow and methodical, lining up all their shots, you know, dotting their I's, crossing their T's. And that slowness was just
Attackers have located a bomb.
Insufficient against Mantis. Once G2 essentially disabled their ability to collect information before attacking, and instead just sprinting on in, G2 started to play a lot better. And look exactly what's been happening with Liquid. An extremely aggressive team. Doesn't necessarily, do the best job on certain maps against certain teams of droning everything and being as precise as possible. Sometimes they tend to get a little overtly aggressive and they get burned because of it. But in this case, this calculated aggression that we're seeing out of Liquid is a little bit less calculated, a little bit more aggressive, and Nesk is like a prized racehorse at the gates, just waiting the shot from the gun to just start sprinting off, as you can see, almost a bit antsy as the rest of his team helps him. It's going to be a smoke execute from Palu as the Jackal will cut off entry, and we see Nesk just push on in. Through the smoke, waiting right in under the complete shroud, rather. Just continuously peeks around and around and around. He has complete sight control. And Nesk could go for a plant. Oh, by Envy, by Hetty, by Sweet Black. Liquid puts 3 on the board as now you got Nova looking the wrong way, and it's 4. Pretty hard to get a diffuser down when you're just killing everybody, but Neilio pulls out a triple kill out of nowhere in thin air. But Zig will shut him down, not tasked with getting the plant off. What a recovery after Neilio almost gets every single one of them lined up in a row. 4 for Team Liquid, and the only reason why there's no plant is because they don't need to when half of the team is dead within 20 seconds of your execute taking place. 4-1 in favor of Team Liquid.
So the initial theory or thought process was that it's Liquid not taking Mantis seriously. That developed into, oh yeah, actually when G2 started doing exactly what Liquid's doing right now, then they started seeing success, just getting aggressive, taking fights, period. End of story. So basically, I'm guessing what's happened here is Liquid have reviewed the VOD of Mantis G2, and they've skipped over the failing to learn process and just went straight to the learning from others' mistake process, and it's allowing Liquid to put themselves so far ahead so early on. The real question now is, when will Mantis correct this? When are they going to figure out how to solve this problem? Because if Liquid's just going to walk into the building and trounce all over you, I mean, that's going to be a problem, a persistent one, no matter where you go in terms of maps. It is not a counterable strategy or anything like that. It's more like a mindset.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that, again, Mantis needs to adapt, period. That's the end of the story. Until they do, they're going to keep losing rounds.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
There might not be a course correction. There have been a number of teams that have failed to adapt.
Yeah, it's true.
And they've just fallen by the wayside. I think that was a big story for Ninjas in Pajamas so far this weekend in the matches that we saw. They failed to adapt. G2's failure to adapt almost cost them a significant lead over Mantis FPS and the opportunity to put Mantis away. Here once again is Prize Racehorse and Stallion waiting to just shoot out of the gates the moment that you hear the sound of the starting gun.
Barricade breaking.
And there it goes. And Nesk is instead of sprinting in, he's just going to crouch walk his way in. Once again, a rare non-plant for Team Liquid, who so far has 4 of 5 rounds with the diffuser down successfully. It's CEO again. So not only are we going to sites that only start with the letter C, Michael, but on the very final defense of Mantis FPS, they will have foregone 2 of the 4 sites on Bank. A bit strange given the fact that, well, Bank has 3 viable sites, I think a lot of people would say, and open area is not terrible, all things considered. Just waiting for Gohan here as you hear the UMP go out, but Gohan's going to survive on Repel, at least for the time being.
I personally believe that, don't personally believe, but the stats prove that Mantis have been going to the statistically worst bomb sites on this map so far. The basement and CEO. But that's not terribly surprising. Most teams do the same thing. You would just expect at some point for them to adapt, to try and do something a little bit different, because what they've been trying has not been working. This is their last attempt at defending. So at this point, I mean, it's make it or break it. They don't have a choice. They're going to CEO, and I don't know how I feel about this decision, but Neilio's going to open up with a 2K. He will be shut down by Gohan. The frag fest continues here for both teams. Nesk on main stairs is going to try and assist his teammate with Sexy Cake, who is already pushed up the main lobby stairs. A huge blunder by Hetty, but Sweet Black with the refrag. Pistol out, he's looking for a fight, but he's going to find it, and it's not going to go his way. Nesk will frag him down, and Envy Taylor with the refrag himself, leaving just Gohan in 1 versus 2. On North Rappel, he will see his enemy and land the shot. Nova goes down. Now it's just Envy Taylor. It's a constant back and forth. Envy doesn't seem to be aware of the location from Gohan, but it's a poorly calculated rappel there into the wrong window, putting Gohan in a bad position. Melee hole allows for an easy spray onto Gohan, and he takes some damage. Unable to reciprocate said damage, and he's just trying to get the diffuser right now. So little time for the Twitch to make it work, but he sees the angle. Damage done in return. Envy Taylor playing this well, just trying to waste the time. Gohan a little bit scared of the potential fight on those melee holes, but he goes for the wide peak, and he just loses it. Envy Taylor, an excellent fight there, and a victory for Mantis to end the first half.
This seemed to be a very winnable round for Liquid. No disrespect to Mantis in that regard, but it was one that Liquid just simply could have won in an absolute slugfest. But a lot of hesitation from Gohan there is what really ultimately ended up being his undoing. He's holding the diffuser. He could have walked right in behind the desk, tried to go for a plant, waited for the sound cue of where the Jaeger would come from and then pop up. I mean, you got the F2. Yeah, you're going up against the carbine that Jaeger uses. Yes, the carbine is one of the best guns on defense. Maybe one of the best guns in the game, but you got the F2, probably the indisputable best gun in the entire game in your hands, and you've got Gohan. I mean, maybe not indisputable. Arguable.
I mean, it's up there.
Arguable.
It's top 3.
I'm going to say arguable, Michael.
Top 3.
Top 3.
Hands down.
Arguably one of the best. Do you want to argue?
Well, no. Inarguably one of the best, but
arguably the best.
yes.
I don't know where I'd be without you.
Okay.
Probably not here.
Yeah, maybe not.
Probably somewhere else.
No, I think you'd be here.
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, at this point,
Attackers
yeah,
are
just,
located.
I don't want to be here without you.
aw, me too.
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah.
4-2, a pretty good scoreline to find yourself on after going on attack on Bang. Switching spots, and Liquid will be on defense. They need 3 to be able to put this one away. What's the solution here for Mantis as they go to attack on Bang?
Well, I mean, that could be the solution. You just mentioned it, Parker. I mean, we've got a side switch now.
But the defense is usually better, Michael.
Yeah, the defense is usually better, Parker, but the problem on Mantis' side is not necessarily what side they're defending, or what side they are on, attack defense. The problem for Mantis is that they have not been allowed to set the tempo of these rounds. They have been getting just outpaced by Team Liquid because Team Liquid's on attack. And rushing is not a crazy thing. Finding openings, gaps in the defense, not a crazy thing. But now, it's Mantis' turn to set the tempo as the attackers. Now I say that, and the meta has been shifting away from that for a long time, but conventional wisdom has always been, well, not really conventional in Siege. There is no such thing as conventional wisdom in Siege. If we're being honest, it doesn't exist. I mean, the stats say one thing, and what makes sense says another, usually. But we are where we are now, and I think that Mantis might have something here since they get to attack now, and they don't have to worry about Team Liquid rushing into them. Or at least, hopefully for their sake, they don't.
I mean, Liquid still does tend to rush on defense.
It's true. That's
definitely
that's the
doable.
problem with the logic.
It's definitely doable here for these teams. Sexy Cake as the smoke playing on server stairs is not that strange, all things considered, but that's once again, as we've noted with smoke previously, a ton of utility to gamble on that hole.
Yeah.
Especially when it doesn't appear to be helped by any mute jammers. There's no mute, no ADSs, there's no Jaeger. So Nova starts things off by taking out Gohan.
Wait a minute. Why are we playing a bandit on the basement? Like, I get, okay, maybe the C4, but
BC4?
Jaeger could be very useful there, and Nesk's going to take down Envy Taylor. In fact, there's drop downs opened up to rotate into basement. The roam from Liquid is crazy odd. And it's, well, 1-to-1 right now, but in terms of time, a true success on the roam.
Yeah. So a big kill for Nesk to be able to take out Envy Taylor and then drop, but keep in mind those hatches are open already. Because that was Liquid's entire plan, was to be able to assess control, or assess the situation and keep control of the main floor, especially open area. You're not really a lot of time for Mantis to be able to pull off this execute. Look a little confused and...
What?
I don't even know.
Wait, was that a breaching charge kill onto... Did he kill himself with a breaching charge?
Yeah, that's It's not great.
I was not looking at the screen, but I heard the laughter.
That is not great.
And then you paused.
I believe the Brazilian casters shouted "Opa" was what I heard in the background.
Nova's gonna get, or Nova rather, is gonna get 2 as he enters into the site, and suddenly he's in an advantageous position. That's 3 for him total in the round. He's got all the kills for his team. He'll finally be shut down, but it's a refrag from Hetty. Sexy Cake also eliminates Hetty. It's back and forth, and Liquid somehow come out on top. You gotta imagine if they had had one more player, possibly a Ying, that might have been a different result.
Yeah. It's going to be a tactical timeout from Mantis as they stare down a 5-2 deficit. I want to see what Neilio was doing.
Yeah, I
really want to see what he was doing to get that breaching charge kill, because he honestly didn't even look like he was in a position where there was anything breachable. Apparently, he was trying to breach one of the hatches with his charge.
It was the server hatch, yeah. And then he walked over the server hatch as he was detonating the breach charge, and he blew himself up.
Could have been.
I'm thinking that's what happened, because
yeah,
that's the only
reasonable explanation.
Where the location of his corpse, that's the only thing that makes sense. He must have been running from around electrical, you know, like from electrical, like the little couch that's next to the pillar. From that location. From that pillar exactly, over the drop down after placing the charge, and he detonated it too early, and he went flying. You gotta wait until you're clear of the breaching charge before you detonate it.
Hopefully Mantis will be able to figure this one out, because we are going to go to CEO for round number 8, Michael.
Okay.
Up to CEO yet again. No real surprise there, given that it's been Teller's archives that have been dropped from the, I guess, old reliable staple of teams.
I mean, Teller's archives also is statistically the best site on this map, hands down, like by a large margin. CEO and Teller's get played about the same amount. CEO has a 55% win rate, and Teller's Archives has a 74% win rate. It is also just the best site, period. I mean, the next closest is Kitchen Open Area, but I think that doesn't really count because it only has like 8 plays. So that, you know, that one is out of the equation. But yeah, Teller's Archives technically best site on this map. Neither of these teams want to play it, but that does not dispute the facts. Anyway. CEO defense, Liquid, after managing to hold out in the basement, but it was pretty close.
It was, and it was all Nova, really.
It was all Milk.
Nova got the first kill, then dropped in, got the 2-piece. Came close to getting more before he got shut down by a push. Then Sexy Cake had all the marks from the Valkyrie. Neska's probably, I'm assuming Neska's, yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to throw a cam out.
Yeah, he's got the camera outside, but not going to go for a run out. Probably the right call.
I mean, not with the MPX.
You can do it with the MPX. What are you talking about?
You love the MPX, Michael.
I think it's a good gun. I also think that Latin American teams think that it's one of the best because, I mean, again, if you look at some of the top fraggers in Latin America, their main defensive operator is Valkyrie.
Yeah.
These are the fraggers in Latin America. Did I say? No, I said Latin America. Yeah, we're good.
I said Latin America.
Okay. For a second there, I thought I said North America.
It's been a long day for everybody, Michael. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I think we can excuse your slight missteps and my slight missteps and everybody's and Stokes's and Flynn's and Blue's and even Milos. You shut up now.
Some people can.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hopefully nice people.
Defender exposed.
Envy Taylor can't get in the building. Oh, no. Oman's going to play Ninja Turtles. He's going to get down in the process, though.
They have a dog. He could maybe make it. There's no one in a position to get him right now. If the doc rushes for it, but he's not going to. Paula's just waiting. Okay.
Paula, yeah.
No one's going for it. Goan's dead.
He's just going to sit and wait. He's going to bleed out. He's not even, I don't even think he's holding it down. I have no idea, but.
He can rest easy knowing he wasted time and took out an IQ.
Yeah. Nobody's going to be able to get him back unless they push right now. Neilio is just waiting to see.
It's baiting.
Use him as bait. There you go. Perfect. Hetty credited with the kill on that. Perez, he was the one who gunned down the Jaegers. He dropped him. And now, time for utility. Hetty gets picked off. Looks like Sexy Cake might have been able to successfully impact trick one of those exothermic charges. There's Sweet Black on the Ash. Takes out Nask. It's an Ash main killing an Ash. or an Ashe killing an Ashe main. Always a nice thing to see.
A bomb has been located.
Yeah, Liquid in a good position, all things considered. They only have to worry about one CEO wall, thanks to the impact tricking from Sexy King. They've also got a man count nice and even. Because of that, defense will be slightly favored as we hit the last minute. There's plenty of utility, though, for Mantis, and I think these Candelas are all that's necessary to push this Mantis's way.
Sweet Black on a rotate, probably going to head up towards the main stairs as both Nelio as well as Nova are currently cut off by the smoke as the toxic canister goes down just to stop Nelio from being able to push on in. Sweet Black's going to have to hurry. He's only got 30 seconds to work with here. And match point awaits Liquid if Liquid wins this round. Right next to the mirror window, you'll see explosion of the breaching charge. The Ying comes on in and bye-bye to Zig. That's absolutely damaging. Nova's there as well. Nelio's now trying to lock things out, but Nova, a huge round and has woken up. It's been absolutely integral to the success so far of Mantis staving off match point, at least for the time being. 5-3 scoreline still in favor of Team Liquid.
Great job there to Mantis. The way that round played out was a little bit wonky. The run out initially. Really surprised that he got punished for that. To be honest, he barely did, and he almost made it out scot-free. Following that, Nelio went for the bait on him. Nobody from Liquid tried to pick up that Jaeger. Definitely the right call. Overall, the defense from Liquid was a little too aggressive. You saw Zig, for some reason, try to push out a meeting hall into storage. I really do not know what he was thinking there. He gave himself away, and following that, his other teammates got picked off one by Nova. We didn't actually see the engagement, so it's hard to judge them. But yeah, that push from Zig, truly ill-advised. Not a great result there as well for Liquid, obviously. Now, looks like we're going to be going, what was that, CEO again? Once more onto the breach, dear friends. Screams Team Liquid.
Why not?
Yep.
What is the downside of going back to CEO, especially when you said it's tied with Teller's Archives, but in terms of pick rate?
Dub it Saint CEO Day.
Do you have the ability to just make such proclamations?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, I mean, you can try.
The Fifth is a good movie.
By the way, we have an update for you, so spoilers ahead. Keep your, take your headphones out, etc.
Yep.
Attackers must locate.
We have a third team making it to the main stage. G2 Esports defeating Mocket by a score of 2-0.
Hey!
Congratulations, G2. Enjoy your next 2 days off. We will see you on Friday.
You gotta imagine G2 versus Mocket. That's just about one of the best matchups that G2 could hope for, as they are ridiculously prepared to play against Mocket. I mean, yeah, I think G2 is really happy with that result, getting to go against that team, and now happy with the result of the actual match. So, good for them. Congratulations. Unfortunate for Mocket, though, of course.
Well, I mean, Mocket's still alive.
They still have a chance.
Mocket will be playing the winner of this match, the one team that does not get sent home.
So, yeah.
It'll either be Liquid or it'll be Mantis.
That'll be a good match no matter the case. We'll find out when we actually get there.
Attackers have located
Very, very slow take here from Mantis. They're just trying their best to figure out the situation. Maybe wary of C4s is why this is going so slowly?
Well, I think they're just wary of C4s, but also, I mean, you're going to impact trick it, right?
Yeah, of course you can impact trick it, but they're just the way that they're taking.
I believe Sexy Cake was successful on the left panel, but not the right panel, if I remember.
You're correct. Oh, well, no. Sexy Cake impacted yeah, if you're in CEO, the north panel. He impacted the north panel.
Directions are very tough here, but it looks like we'll be able to get one off, and they'll just try and fight for the other. Oh!
Bomb located
Go
by
on,
attackers.
takes Sweet Blacks out with a sweep of the legs, eliminating them. It's a good pick to start things off. Sweet Black on the Ashe, but Nova has just been such a potent fragger, and he will continue onwards, finding and eliminating Sexy Cake. As the ultimate frag might be forced off repel just due to a bit of a blunder by missing the drone, and will now go back on up. Only takes about 10 to 20 seconds off of the clock.
The words right on my mouth. The Fragmite, playing as the support player, but also contributing in terms of kills.
Yes.
That's something really to be pointed out on the side of Nova. Got to pick up the slack somewhere, though, and anyone on Mantis is capable of it. Liquid stacking up by Reception and Banana. Also got one player inside of that meeting hall, Zig, using the mirror window. Now, last time, Mirror walked out of that location. Oh no, it's a Miss Candela. That could be huge. That's going to blind his teammates. The smoke's also working against them. Gohan able to rotate into the main hallway. Paula eliminates Hetty. Zig with a C4 will deny the plan. It's just Envy Taylor against the world. He's taken out one, but he's got to get 3 more, and it's not gonna happen. Team Liquid with an absolute stomp following the execution from Mantis, and we will go to match point.
Really good hold, really good execution there from Team Liquid, who just, I think they understood what Mantis was trying to do better. You control the windows over by CEO, you control the windows over by that connector area leading out to the part that is referred to as banana, and you just wait. And you wait, and you let Mantis have to commit some mistakes. The Pulse did all the work himself with Gohan getting the opening frag, tossing up that C4 to the skylight, stairwell, floor, the ceiling from his perspective. It'll now put match point in Liquid's favor. And hey, would you look at that? They lost CEO, so they'll go back downstairs to Lockers, CCTV, and Michael. 10 rounds. And we've only seen CCTV and CEO. That's it.
Yep. It's weird. It's weird, Parker. We've seen this before, though. It's not shocking, necessarily, but it is worth knowing that technically they are the worst sites in terms of win rate for the defenders on this map. However, I really don't count open area since it's always been played a few times. It's got like a 67% win rate, but like eight rounds total played. That doesn't count. Tellers is, though, yeah, pretty much the site here, and it's being ignored.
10 seconds to
I will say this, though. As much as stats matter, preference does as well. Some teams just do not like defending certain locations. Clearly, neither of these teams like defending Tellers. And hey, that's their prerogative.
Objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
So it's going to be a setup here on, looks like Tellers to start things off. Potentially Roamers, going to be pretty far afield on the side of Team Liquid.
How far is the field, Michael?
Liquid have been very aggressive with their roamers so far throughout this match, and it's not terribly surprising to see a continuance of that, as it's been working out well for them. The aggression in general for the defenders, definitely to their advantage.
I feel like you ignore my questions an awful lot, and I feel like I just deserve a
I
general
don't know what you're talking about.
from somebody. I know you're not kidding, okay? I understand. So, possible final round, and there's a heavy roam presence upstairs already from Liquid. They have done the unpredictable on many occasions, and like I said, he can get quite aggressive, and Liquid can essentially counterattack when they're playing on defense. Halu is up top and has a rotate into Janitor if he needs. He sees one body, but he's not going to be able to get away in time. He's got 2 to try and gut him down, and, well, he's going to have a tricky situation to get out of, but there's actually 3, as Nova is there as well. And oh no, that's an easy pinch for Mantis.
All the right peaks at all the wrong moments there from Paula, and because of that, taken out with relative ease. Main lobby control in favor of the attackers. Envy Taylor also going to eliminate Nesk. Very long angle there from open area. And in the site, well, near the site is most of the attacking team. Zig doing his best to fight back, but he'll be shut down after getting just 1 kill. Sexy Cake inside of Vault also trying his best to delay the push. The diffuser's being planted, though, inside of B, and there's no one who can stop him. Sexy Cake going for a push into Red Hall, but it's all over. Envy Taylor, an excellent round. Mantis, what a rush. And you just don't usually see a Teller's drop take work on the basement. But here you go. The unusual. Mantis FPS, a nice take there.
So that Mantis' first diffuser down as well that I see. So,
nice.
I mean, you got 4 down from Team Liquid. Now you look at 5 as well. So it's been an execute heavy type of strat. Given that CCTV or CEO is still locked, we're gonna go back down to Lockers and CCTV for Liquid. And ultimately, Liquid was just, I don't know, they were too loose, I think, more than anything. Especially Palu upstairs. He had 0 help. He had no reinforcements. There's nobody to call, no cavalry to come and try to rescue him. And
it's always a difficult situation when that happens.
I mean, these disjointed roams that teams do, I don't necessarily understand their thought process.
I mean, it's sometimes worked out for Liquid. And I think maybe the thought process behind it is this. The line of logic is Liquid have been winning their fights. quite a lot. It's why they're on 6-4 right now. And you could see the Mantis have started to wake up. They're winning their own fights now too. So the adjustment needs to be made by Liquid where they're supporting each other going for the refrags, because I think that's been the really the true point to add to Team Liquid's credit is that they have been working well together.
Yeah.
But yeah, the disjointed roams, the solo stuff, it can work. Liquid does win their fights, but I don't know. I agree with you. I think it's a bad call.
To locate a bomb and defuse it.
Yeah,
They still have time to adjust.
and it's worth seeing what happens here, right? You're gonna have, well, this roam does one thing. It's gonna commit Mantis to have to clear that second floor more thoroughly, not just necessarily with drones. Bank's a huge map, right? We've talked about this. Jackal is not banned, and neither team were really running Jackal outside of the few couple times we saw Palu run it with the smokes and the PDW, but has not been used at all, not really utilized by Mantis. Most of, the best of their ability. They've instead been running the Ying instead with the Capitao on Heady, if need be, and a lot of static play on Mantis. Subbing out one 3-speed for another with MV Taylor on the Maverick instead of the Ash. Gives you lots of fragging potential, but I think there's just a lot of utility that Mantis hasn't really had, and not really had the wherewithal to utilize properly.
Maybe. I don't know. Frag potential, yes, but that's not everything, of course. And I mean, in this match, it might just be. We've been seeing a lot of utility, yeah, but most of this match has come down to who's winning their gunfights. Saw some potential comeback rounds as well, just off of the sake of gunfights, winning one after another. Well, again, it's not over just yet. Liquid defending the basement. It's got to be a good spot for them. And the way that this setup is downstairs, it's kind of curious. I mean, we've got an unreinforced server drop down, which is not unusual. Just means it's unlikely that anyone from the defensive team will be playing in server. The drop down in small office has already been opened up, but it looks like it might have been the defenders to preemptively open it so that the roamers could fall back. We've seen this from Liquid before. Plenty of counterplant utility if it comes down to a default plant, but I would remind you guys that it hasn't yet come to a default plant, so that would be weird.
Yeah. Probably the slowest round that we've seen so far between them.
Certainly, yeah.
As well. Taking their sweet time, realizing that they need to line everything up before actually pulling off this execute. It's actually going to be quite beneficial towards Liquid. That's a huge firebolt, as it essentially forces the Mira out of a position to go for the post plant. Not seeing much post or plant going down though for the time being. Emilio's dropping in a ton of Candelas, will now rotate over as Nova goes for the plant, looking to try to get one down. Eddie credited with a fire kill his nest, takes out Nova, and there you go. Diffuser is down, will need to be replanted, or grabbed rather, by Mantis. Nelio gets one, Envy gets another. Paulo is there. Heady picks off one.
10 seconds to go.
Desk in a clutch or kick scenario, and it doesn't go anywhere. Nowhere. Mantis regain their footing quite miraculously, and we will go to the final round of relegation. One of two things will happen. Either we have overtime ahead of us, or that's it, and map one will go to Liquid. Speaking of, they'll take a tactical timeout, try to regroup, and figure out exactly what is going wrong for them now, as they started off so strong, but have dropped the last 2 rounds in a row.
Those office archives following that disastrous defense in the basement from Team Liquid. This, by the way, will be the very first time we go to Teller's office archives. If we actually end up going there. They still have a chance to change it. Of course, it's in the middle of a tactical timeout, so it's just on pause. But it has been the preliminary site picked by Liquid, and if it gets locked in, it'll be quite interesting. They are likely setting up a full one-time strategy to lock this out. That is what would be normal on a match point situation. We've seen a couple other teams attempt this. It's the perfect time for a timeout, for being honest. But it might not be enough. The way that Mantis has been playing, they have woken up on the fragging front. Their strategies have been pretty sound. That was the first time we saw an attempted default plant on the basement bank. And the counterplay using those Candelas in Red Hall, that was pretty wonderful, and it did deny a lot of those C4s. Following that, there was a lot of frag potential for Mantis. It did end up failing. The plant was denied by a C4 from Liquid, but the fragging potential from Liquid,
Diffused by attackers.
just not enough in that round.
The big thing from Mantis' side have been both Hetty and Nelio's contributions on attack. Yeah, Envy Taylor, as it shows on the scoreboard, has been the standout performer in terms of just pure killing potential. But I feel like it's been Hetty and Nelio, or rather Hetty and Nova, my apologies, shouldering so much of this weight on attack. I mentioned as he was the fragment. On Nova's side, well, Hetty just had a banger of a round. And you've got two support players who are coming in clutch in the dying seconds after the execute has already taken off to just kind of hold things together. Liquid just need to play better as a team, because right now I'm not seeing an awful lot from them that leads me to believe they're playing off of one another. This is very singular play. I referenced the disjointed roam that we saw upstairs, and then of course on the main site as well. Zig got forced out, and there was no real significant plant denial. It took Nasktap to go on up and get C4 down, but it took a little while longer, and there wasn't enough, I think, of recovery from Liquid there to be able to keep that round from going by the wayside, which is exactly what ended up happening.
Envy Taylor just trying to drone his way into square. He's control now of lower square. Be able to take out that default cam. He's doing this by himself, though. Talked about it, the solo plays being very dangerous. I think he's just trying to set up for a potential flank on a main lobby take primarily for the attackers, because all of the attackers besides Envy Taylor are coming from the main lobby right now. And my guess is that, yeah, they're just trying to do a two-pronged assault. Hammer and anvil, if you will. But we'll see. It's slow entry as well. Here's the thing. They've tried to be as stealthy as possible in pushing into that main lobby. Nesk is going to take out Envy Taylor, which means the flank for the attackers no longer available. And Paul is coming from behind himself, so here's the flank from the defenders. Nobody's watching for this, and it's going to be an easy two-piece for Paula, one for Nesk. Sweet Black finally shuts down Paula, but it's too little too late. The bottom fragger for Mantis FPS will not be able to clutch it. Team Liquid will take the map and push us to map number 2.
Is that an M870 that was being used? Yes, it
Yep.
was. It was indeed an M870.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, indeed.
Liquid survives a scare and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And man, that was a lot closer than it needed to be for Liquid if you think about it. But now this is what? This is the third map that we've seen at a Mantis where they've actually been very competitive against a team that is near the top of their region. Liquid being one of the top Latin America teams, G2 being one of the top European teams, and Mantis has been able to push these teams to the limit. It's very impressive, all things considered. And showing that a lot of the growth that's come out of APAC since they had their first event on an international stage, you know, I don't know, it's September 2017.
I mean,
They've really grown.
pushing enemy teams to their limits, yes, that's great, but it's not winning matches, it's not winning maps, and no matter how you look at it, I don't know. I mean, Mantis has come close many times, but if you're not pushing all the way. I mean, we talked about it earlier when we were looking at the brackets, actually. 2-0 for G2 in that Mantis G2 match. And we said it ourselves. It's not really the full depth of that match because, yeah, it was Mantis putting up a heck of a fight. But it's still 2-0, man. It's still 2-0. They need to be able to push past that. I mean, to be fair, it takes a long time and a lot of development. Look at Fnatic. They've been on the grind for for as long as APAC has really been a thing. And they have just been the first team out of their region to qualify for the actual main event. They got the 2-0 or the 2-0 stretch in the group stages, and that's as good as it gets. And they've been on that grind for a long time, and they've come very close in the past, but now they're the ones to push forward and get the wins. I want to see that from Mantis as well, but a win is a win and a loss is a loss, and it really just comes down to that. Liquid were the better team in that map. Hands down.
Yeah.
They won a lot more of their fights. Yes, Mantis started waking up. Yes, they had some really amazing individual performances from Mantis, but the overall team performance from Liquid, Far superior.
Yeah. And I mean, that is Liquid in a nutshell, right? When they play as a team and they work really well together, they look indomitable. But the problem is that Liquid tends to rely a lot on raw, natural talent, given the fact that they have 3 incredible fraggers, 3 of the top in the region in terms of just being able to rack up kills. And I think they kind of default when things get going or things go tough, and they tend to forget the executes that they have. They tend to forget the idea and the method behind the madness, and then everything falls apart because they get taken over by teams that are much better prepared. Now, we happen to be in a certain time when, as people refer to it as QEC, where being really aggressive and taking lots of chances and taking gambles and just kind of playing really up front wins more fights than it doesn't. That's benefiting Liquid no matter what.
You know, the crazy thing about QEC is that it's technically always been mechanically possible. They didn't just, change it so that it would be possible. In fact, it used to be easier way back in the day before they changed the leaning mechanics. But people just didn't do it. It was the same thing with drop shotting. Remember when drop shotting suddenly became part of the meta? That was always a thing you could do. People just didn't do it. So that's one of the things that adds to the depth of Siege. But in this case, one of the worst things that adds to the depth of Siege.
It's similar to the Caveira silent step that we're seeing right now
with
well,
the
right? With when she drops down to silent step and leans side to side. And
you can't see her head?
Did you literally just do it? IRL?
Yeah,
LOL?
I did.
And he did. He even has the ponytail!
Yeah.
Her ponytail flutters around.
Yeah, if you do it in game, her ponytail is over the top.
But basically, that's always existed to the best of my knowledge. Unless something is significantly changed, this has always existed, but it just gets found out, by freak happenstance, almost. And I mean, it
Really, really unfortunate that one in particular got found out right before the Invitational.
yes.
That was bad timing.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of there's a lot of things like that in Siege, and I'm sure there's a bunch that nobody knows about right now.
Absolutely.
Like I bet you that's just how it is.
There's gonna be, these gonna be content creators being like, what else can we find?
Oh.
Let's test some things out here,
Yeah, I mean,
Still waiting for somebody to figure out that there's Tomahawk cruise missiles on Lion's drone.
yeah, they added that. He's in quarantine right now. But they sneakily up threw that in the last update. Didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, very true. All right, so let's look towards Clubhouse. This is going to be our second map. Between these two teams, just at face value, Liquid versus Mantis. Who's taking Clubhouse? Who do you think?
Liquid.
You think so?
I, off the top of my head, would think so, yeah. I think that Liquid is a more strategy-oriented team, and I think that's going to give them a slight advantage here. Yeah, okay, more strategy-oriented. Keyword more, because overall, not so much. They also have a 3-0-1 record on Clubhouse. They've banned it quite a lot, 5 times, but 3-0-1, that's 3 wins, 0 draws, 1 loss. That's still pretty darn good. On the other hand, with Mantis, they are also very good at Clubhouse. They've only played it twice. They've won it twice. So I would say off the top of my head and for what I just witnessed and based on the stats, I'd still give the edge to Liquid. I think they've got a longer record with the map, and I think that technically speaking, Mantis has a better record with the map. But I don't know. I just for some reason I can see Liquid taking this one in a 2-0.
Keep in mind that yesterday Mantis pushed G2 to overtime on Clubhouse in map number 1.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah, Michael. Oh, yeah, indeed. By a score of 8-6, G2 prevailed over Mantis on Clubhouse. Map
so I guess Mantis is 2-0-1. So these stats, I guess, not updated from that match.
How dare they give you bad stats, Michael?
No.
Obviously. But anywho, a good team on Clubhouse. You have Liquid, who's a good team on Bank. They struggled against Mantis. You got Mantis, who's a good team on Clubhouse. We very possibly are about to go to a third map after this, right? We might have Border on the docket. It's already there. Just a matter of whether we're going to play it or not. I actually kind of want to see a third map between these two teams. For the interest of time, it would mean that the night goes a little bit later. But between these...
What time is it?
Well, here right now, I think it's 6:20.
Oh.
I believe.
That wouldn't be the end of the world.
6:20 on the dot.
Yeah.
No, not at all. We still have one more match to go after this. It'll be Lestream versus Penta.
This for this stream.
Lestream for this stream.
Lestream is the last match streamed
We all stream
on this stream.
or Lestream.
And we're going to be loading into the match. It will be Clubhouse. Again, a map that Both teams have played quite a lot. Mantis with the 2-0-1 record, and on the other hand, Team Liquid with a slightly better 3 wins total and 1 loss, 0 draws. Slightly better. The one extra win.
Yeah.
Other than that, pretty much the same. But we're going to the ban phase. Here we go. Liquid on defense, Mantis on attack.
I think it's definitely going to benefit Mantis heading on in.
I say Liquid.
I know you say Liquid. I'm going to actually say that I think that Mantis is probably going to take this, but my predictions have been awful today.
Well, I mean, we'll find out. To be fair,
I don't usually do predictions.
to be fair here, Mantis, since they did just kind of play this map,
Yeah.
yesterday, of course, but technically still, they played it. That's experience, an immediate experience. Not something you have to look at stats for. It's just like, it's right there. They've played it very recently, and they're warmed up for this map. They know what they need to do, and they know what they need to avoid.
This is very funny.
Yes?
We've now seen 4 maps being played by Mantis FPS, and Monty has been banned every single time. Now, if you go back and rewatch a lot of the APAC qualifier footage, you know that Mantis does run a Montane, and do so quite well. And these other teams just don't want to deal with a powerful operator such as Monty. There'll be 2 shield bans, though, as Clash will be banned. It's kind of weird to see Clash get banned, because it's been, I feel like, so long since she was removed from a matchup.
Yeah, I mean, she's only just become relevant because of her SMG buff. So, at the beginning, she was relevant because she could swap really quickly and play very differently. But after they nerfed her, I mean, she fell out of favor. Now she's back in favor. Why? Because she's got an SMG pistol that's better than most.
Yeah. And she's quite strong. We've seen a number of teams put the shield on her back and whip around and try to kill people with the pistol. Very similar to what was it? The way that Psycho or Kamikaze played her on defense, I believe.
I think you're right.
I believe.
I'm gonna go ahead and give myself an educated guess token and say that you're right.
Oh, how do you earn those tokens?
They're self-generated, Parker.
You're telling me I could have these all along?
Yep.
I had no idea.
You can cash them in whenever you want. Educated guess. Team Liquid gonna win this match.
10 seconds to go.
I know, and I think it's going to be Mantis, personally.
Educated guess. Mantis gonna win this match. See how easy that works?
Generated one.
Yep. Generated and cashed it in just like that.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
But I don't know.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
I think this match is gonna be, or this map is gonna be one of those really impossible ones to predict, as most of the tournaments in this match have been. I'm gonna go with it. I'm sticking to it. I said it, and I'm holding true. So it wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't be surprise me.
I'm just gonna stop talking. Parker, you take it.
It's going to be a Gym Master defense, which is a very strange site to start on. Now, the typical 3-rotation site of Clubhouse, for those that don't play Clubhouse often, will be Church, as it is usually one of the most defendable sites. Move on over to CCTV Cache, and then you move to Gym Master and hope that you win Gym Master. A lot of teams will win the first 2 and then stumble across the third. And that's just usually what happens on Clubhouse. That'll give you, as defense, 4 of the 6 rounds. That's a pretty good number to sit at, and there are deviations here or there that can make a big difference. Interestingly enough, with the Ying and Monty bans, all 3 hard breachers will be available for Clubhouse, and that is going to have a pretty seismic impact on the way that the attackers are able to reshape the site, especially with Hibana and Thermite being a mainstay in order to take out the hatches. That means that teams can comfort pick onto Maverick if need be, but they're not required to do so. The very first kill going to go to Nova as he takes out Nesk, and one of the most potent fraggers in the whole world will be removed for at least the next 90 seconds, allowing the rest of Mantis to push in relatively unabated.
Sexy Cake going to be playing with the M870 shotgun on that Bandit. A very dangerous pick, but one that they have used in the past. In fact, in the previous map, I think Liquid expecting the aggression from Mantis and trying to counter it with shotguns. I don't necessarily agree or disagree with the logic, but it is going to make Sexy Cake slightly less powerful at range. That's definitely worth keeping an eye on. Just some nades, some throwables being dished out here by the attackers to clear out the ADSs. Still some roamers available to Team Liquid. Gohan, as the Pulse underneath, could get C4 kills if he plays this right. A pretty easy one right in front of him, actually, if he goes for it. That Hibana is static, just watching a flank, so I could be, actually, no. It looks like on the balcony is the Hibana. No, the Hibana was inside a cache, so they own outside. He misses the C4 on. That was Sweet Black. Curious decision-making there from the Pulse.
Yeah. Tough decision to make as to whether or not there's actually somebody inside the building and whether you're actually able to land the shot or not. Sexy K could use the Jaeger's shotgun. He's going to use it on the Bandit this time around, and all of Mantis are just collapsing in on the site. But the M870 is pretty strong, and Sexy Cake will take out 2. Going for a 3rd, but he'll get caught as he vaults into the bathroom, and Invitational will lock Gohan out of the site, giving Mantis their very first round, the very first round in particular of this match. But more importantly, that's the attackers taking one of essentially what you need is at least 3 to walk away with a win, quote unquote, on these sides.
I guess you're right, Parker.
So,
Mantis won. Good prediction.
thank you, Michael.
It's going to be basement next after an unsuccessful defense of Jim. Trying to start on an offsite to catch their opponent off guard. It's a good policy in general. Interesting the way that it played out, though. Team Liquid lost too many players to picks. And they just could not hold out with the limited anchor potential. We also saw, I think, some poor calculation on the side of Gohan. That C4 from below. He could have gotten the Hibana pretty easily. Followed that up with even a run out on the Sweet Black, and that's a 2-piece for him. But he decided to put all of his eggs in one basket, go for the C4, and he missed the C4. So, detonated it too early. It was too high in the sky. Unfortunate. Basement defense for Liquid, I think, is going to be a little bit more solid. This is the go-to site for most teams. It has a really good win rate as well for how often it is played, around 53%, 55% in that region. So, excellent site, to be certain.
5 seconds to insertion.
And the setup here, pretty standard fare for the fact that, or thanks to the fact that Mira is not banned, she will be huge on this site. So you can control the bottom of main stairs.
Yeah, the bans have actually been kind of odd here with Maestro being available and Amira being available.
The Clash ban, man.
The Clash ban does kind of take a little bit of flexibility away.
It's an interesting ban, and I get why you would do it. Clashes she can be a nuisance to some teams, but I do think that it limits the bans elsewhere. It was the same thing as when we saw Lion wasn't quarantined. He got banned all the time, and that limited the attacker bans, made the attackers much more potent.
And it really helped the teams that, you know, perma-banned Lion, one of which being G2.
Yeah, yeah.
Because then you have more freedom. I don't know, that's just the way I see it.
Freedom's a wonderful thing. Nova, having fragged quite a lot through this match, is no longer playing Thermite. He is currently on Jackal. Bit of a hybrid operator, all things considered, but generally a fragger.
A lot of teams use Jackal as an entry fragger, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's good. You have a good gun. You've got very minimal utility, and your utility is literally designed to hunt people down and kill them. So, I mean, you've got pretty pure of an entry fragger, all things considered.
Scouts and Key. Really great use here from Sweetback. He's going to hit the goo mine, and that's not a huge deal, just a little bit of damage done, but already a lot of control established thanks to that skeleton key usage on the main, or bottom of main stairs. That means it's unlikely anyone's going to be playing aggressive on main stairs. It's good to establish that knowledge early on.
Just gets hit with the goo mine though, and I'm kind of interested actually at the goo mine being positioned at the top of the stairs, because you know that there's likely going to be a buck there. I don't know if that was intended to be triggered later on, but you got to get out of there as quickly as you can in Paulo's case. So he will completely abandon blue. And you'll see one of the disorienting blasts from the lifeline as Nova makes his way down very slowly. Tries to evade anybody who might be playing on the other side of it. Bit of a bullet through a pre-fire onto the wall of Nova as he gives call-outs to the rest of his team, and that smoke should have dissipated at the doorway. Window gets opened up by the Zofia. Emilio and Nova will try to look on in, and oh, he'll capitalize. Boy, will he ever. He gets traded out by Palu, gets absolutely flattened as the Jaeger is susceptible to a push from the back. That's the Zofia prone and down below, and oh, Palu will grab his second. Push on over to the main stairs and look to see if somebody is going to come from that area. But no, there's Zig to grab one. Hetty's in. A double kill for the Thermite inside of Church. He'll pray that he'll be able to get this plant down.
15 seconds left.
Sweet Black will try to keep control of the site as Hetty falls off of the plant. It's going to be a push around the corner, but Sweet Black looks the other way, gets taken out by Sexy Cake, who's been all shotgun all day. Whether Hetty's going to finish that one or not, it's Palu to get the very final kill. And Liquid will answer back. They failed on that very first site upstairs on Jim Master, a bit of a head scratcher, but Church is made a little bit easier, though still very close for comfort for Liquid.
Hetty really needed to stick the defuse plant there, but he faked it, got off because he didn't think his teammate was covering. What is that? Yeah, a bad call. But more importantly, that proves poor communication on Mantis FPS currently. The fact that Hetty was not aware his teammate was covering for the plant is huge. Something that they need to correct moving forward is that communication, allowing for a better play overall for the attackers. Nice try, though, from Hetty. Got the only 2 kills for his team, if I'm not mistaken. Team Liquid locking it out, and most of that coming off the back of Paula
Protect your bombs from being
over by
defused
Blue.
by attackers.
He pretty much single-handedly held on to that flank. No, not pretty much. He straight up single-handedly held onto that flank, and because of that, his team could focus all of their efforts on the Church wall push. It's a really good job to Hetty, or rather, Paula, holding on to Blue. Now, moving forward, even round count, and while Liquid had a pretty definitive win just now, they're going to go to their 3rd bomb site. It's going to be Jim again. Second time they've tried to defend Jim, and first time did not work out great. They seem pretty dead set on holding this site. They haven't gone to cash just yet. Technically speaking, I believe Jim has the highest win rate of all of the sites, but it's also one of the lesser played. It's played just a little bit less than cash, which also has one of the higher win rates.
Win rate for the defense or the attackers, Michael?
For the defenders.
Because there's a win rate for both.
Yeah, sorry. You're right, the defenders. But generally speaking, as for future reference, I should note that when talking about these things, it's going to be, if it's anything positive, so 50%, 60%, it's almost always the defenders.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the only site that doesn't have a positive win rate for the defenders, well, there's a few, but pretty much the worst one is actually on this map, and it's Bar. Yeah, it's got a 33% win rate of 3 tries.
33.3%.
Yeah, so only, if we're going to be really specific, yes, Parker, 33.33333, etc.
When you look at this site, though, if you focus on if we can focus on what's going on right ahead of us.
Oh yeah, let's do that, Parker.
How long does it usually take a team to be able to wrestle the cash away from the defense? Because Paulu's in a position now where he's going to lose a tiny portion of that reinforced wall in front of him and just essentially await a 2-pronged push.
How long does it take, or how long should it take?
How long should it take? Because, I mean, it's been a minute and a half now.
A minute and a half is a solid amount of time for this control to be established for Mantis FPS. And they had a few extra seconds to spare. I'd say that was a decent take there into cash. Team Liquid weren't holding on to it very firm, though, to be honest with you. And yeah, it's a bit of both. It's the fact that Liquid kind of forfeited it really quickly, but it's also Mantis FPS using their hard destruction here, which is pretty substantial.
Sweet Black is being foiled for just a second by the soft destruction capabilities of that wall and unable to get around it, even though he does have a skeleton key, but I think he's trying to be a little bit stealthier. There's been a bit of a pause from Mantis FPS because the wall inside of construction has been shot out. On both sides, actually. The wall leading into logistics office, as well as the wall that just leads into construction from cash. It's going to give some thoughts to Mantis as they will head back onto their drones and try to essentially suss out where the rest of Liquid is playing. Unless there's a flank watch, though, Mantis might be in troubling position because Palu has made his way downstairs. And there's an opportunity to get back to that site. With Ness playing on the main stairs as well, he could be assisted by his teammate. I would wager that Sexy Cake on that Bandit will be running the M870 inside of the bathroom and just essentially wait and greet anybody who possibly decides to push on in. Zig covering down inside of logistics office. He's got an Evil Eye to help him should somebody drop from the hatch above. There's going to be a body up there. It's a Hibana, and Zig will get flashed as Nova comes on in, and it's an easy very first kill, but it comes with 20 seconds left. Gohan immediately refrags, goes for the buck, he'll put one in the chest. It's a big kill for Gohan. Plant going down from Hetty as Envy Taylor picks up a kill, but Nesk will trade it off. Nelio trying to do his best to stop Gohan as Nesk eliminates Hetty. Diffuser goes down, and not, rather, dropped. And Nelio doesn't have the time to pick it up and go for the plant. Liquid will persevere, just simply wait it out, and in the dying seconds, Hetty's inability to get that plant down as the timer strikes to 0 before he loses his life as they're undoing. Jim goes in hand to Team Liquid, setting us up for a bar stock or a cash CCTV defense for the final rotation of Liquid before Church unlocks.
Bar stock or CCTV.
I know it's funny to you, Michael, but it's still a sight.
Yeah, it's just a bad sight. So CCTV going to be held here from Team Liquid, and that Jim hold pretty solid. A nice try. I like the way that Mantis took their way into Jim. They had a very specific focus on that after they took control of Cash, and I understand why they did that. They wanted to eliminate the long angle from Cash into Jim, but they didn't do enough with the control that they had at their disposal. It would have been nice to see them have a little bit more manpower when actually going for the push into sight. Thanks to Team Liquid getting a little bit aggressive and isolating players and eliminating them one by one, they were able to rack up that man count, or body count, I suppose.
Whichever you'd like.
Man advantage.
Whichever you'd like.
You want me to say another one, and you could say whichever one you like?
Whichever one you'd like. I mean, you knew I was going to say it anyway. I don't know why you're surprised.
Team Liquid going for a lot of information as well. As you can see, Echo is banned. They brought 3 info ops aside from him. The Maestro, the Valkyrie, and the Mira. A safe bet usually, especially against Latin American teams, doesn't really matter which, is to ban the Valkyrie, as they will use that Valkyrie so well. And if you don't, make sure you bring IQ. But there's no IQ here on Mantis FPS's side, and they are going to feel the pain because of that. And V. Taylor using Maverick going to be a great assistance in opening up this wall. I think he's going to go for the mirror window first, maybe. He's just trying to bait somebody to opening it for him.
Ah, the old Serenity 17 YouTube trick, I see.
Get on cameras in front of mirror windows.
Stand in front of it, get on cameras, then immediately hop off. But no, I think he was trying to test if Sexy Cake was there to go for a bandit trick. I think that's what he was attempting to do, and you saw Sexy Cake push on up as if the bandit was going to, indulge him in what he was looking for. Maverick is very, very strong on this site, and the triple hard breach of Mantis means that if they play their cards right, there should be very minimal impediments to getting into the site for all of Mantis's roster.
Bomb located by attackers.
You can take out the construction wall, Michael. You can take out the jacuzzi wall. Well, the jacuzzi walls aren't actually opened up.
They did that, Parker.
Looks like they did it with the buck, Michael.
We did that.
They did indeed already do that, Michael. So now you can take construction, which is usually where a lot of teams are going to come from if they don't push from garage or they don't try to take that CCTV wall.
Which looks like it's going to be the plan from Mantis is CCTV wall. You know, it's a really powerful thing to have open, but it's like teams defending cash plan around that wall being opened at this point. And considering the bandit tricking is still there, not being countered by the Maverick, it doesn't seem like Mantis really care about opening it right now. As you can see, full control of office here for Mantis FPS. They've got a long angle into the A bomb site. Zig playing behind the bomb chassis itself, and Nesk there to support him through the rotation hole. Mirror window on the construction wall is going to be very difficult to deal with, but from below, Sweet Black is going to use his Buck skeleton key to delete that mirror window and the bandit batteries, allowing for a nice big hole that the attackers can use to enter into A.
It's a bit heartbreaking that that grenade from Sweet Black is going to miss, looking for a second to possibly get it, and no, it gets underthrown just a little bit too much. It looked like it was Nesk who was going to be the recipient of that fun bag of surprises from below. Nova will get kill number 1 onto Zig, as Nesk is just a shadow of himself and will need to play a little bit more conservatively. He's moved on over to the top of red. He'll just sit patiently and wait to see if there's a push coming in through construction. We saw that the Hibana was able to open up construction, another side of that mirror window, and Nesk doesn't need much HP. He grabs one, Palu gets out Nova, and Envy and Sweet Black will answer back. 3v2 and just small caliber-based destruction. One body's gonna push on in, and oh, Envy Taylor slaps Nesk down, and he grabs yet another kill. onto Palu. What a performance by Mantis to grab cash in the dying seconds, using his speed, violence, and I guess a little bit of momentum there, Michael. Both teams have 2 rounds with 2 still remaining. Very close for Liquid, very close rather for Mantis to be able to say that they walked away with a victory on this side. If they can pick up 1 more round, that's a win on Clubhouse.
Speed, violence, momentum is right, Parker. And it was a nice try from Team Liquid, sure, but they forgot to dip, duck, dive, and dodge, and they just couldn't get away from the bullets raining down from Mantis FPS. It really did come down to the brawl, though. And that's one of those things that, yeah, okay. It was a good call, I think, for Mantis to stray away from the server wall. That server wall has hit and miss results. Hit and miss at best. And again, teams on defense plan around it being opened up. I really do like that Mantis decided to commit solely to taking from construction, because that frag power from Mantis FPS altogether in a ball thrown at the enemy, it's really potent.
Just the way you said that, sorry.
Potent?
No, just never mind.
The whole thing?
The whole thing.
Really? Wow.
Please continue, Michael.
Wow.
10 seconds
Wow.
to insertion.
Wow.
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 5 seconds
Wow,
to
from Mantis in that round. And
insertion.
Team Liquid will go back to the basement. It was the first site that they managed to win. And they get to go back to it now that we're 3 rounds away from that result.
I think this is as good as you could have expected for Mantis here. I think they've been a little confused by some things that they've seen from Liquid, and they've taken a little bit longer to be able to get their footing under them. Envy Taylor's ability to flex from this Ash onto the Maverick is obviously a pretty big advantage for this team, all things considered. You know, the M4 that comes on Maverick is a pretty good gun, all things considered. He's still a 3-speed, Michael. He's got utility. He's got probably better utility than Ash, even though that blowtorch has a very different purpose. So, Envy Taylor seeing, I guess, shadowy forms, thinking that there's a goo mine in front of him, but
No,
there's not.
that's not.
There's one on the top of the stairs that he got, though.
Sweetblock is up there. There's a pretty solid roam clear here so far from Mantis FPS. They're just trying to make sure that there's no one upstairs, and they have established that as the case. There you go. Got that lesion trap that you're talking about, the goo mine. Now that they have control of the 2 top floors, they're going to start opening up the drop downs, but oh, look at that, an impact trick. Surprise, surprise. And some of the X-Heroes will go off. The second set will not, and wow, doubling down. So the solution, in case you were wondering, to impact tricking on the kitchen dropdown is to bring Maverick.
Or Buck. Buck the floor around it.
Yeah, you buck the floor around it, and then you can push them back. But I'd say generally, Maverick is a really safe solution. Sometimes he'll get shot, but if you play it right, he won't.
I mean, there's a lot of teams who open up that small part next to the cart,
Yeah, and then they'll try to
and
shoot
then they'll
him.
try to shoot you, and then Mavericks can unfortunately be...
We've seen it.
Yeah, we've seen it a couple times.
Yeah, but there's a way to do that, or a way to open the drop down where you're not going to die to that little part next to the cart.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever. You can also just use all of your X-Heroes. It's no problem.
Possible.
It's exactly what they did. They opened up that kitchen drop down, and now they have control of above B.
I mean, there's still opportunity for you to put those exothermic charges on the church wall, possibly on dirt, wherever you think it might go. First casualty is Sweetblack. He meets his fate at the hands of a C4 just on the main stairs. That's well tossed by Zig. If not tossed, definitely pre-placed.
No, I think it must have been tossed.
I
But
feel
how
like
did he get it there?
Buck was above.
Yeah, I don't know. Was it?
It had to have
Maybe
been pre-placed.
maybe he could have vaulted the wall.
Which wall, Michael?
He could have vaulted. No, he couldn't have vaulted.
Couldn't have vaulted.
It's too high.
Yes.
Gosh, I don't know.
The high jump, Michael.
Gohan's going to take down Envy Taylor, and Nesk as well on Tenelio, so Team Liquid in full control. Nova gets the first kill for his team. He's going to look for a second, but not land it. The diffuser gets planted regardless, right next to him. He'll be down by a Legion Trap, and it's all a clean sweep for Team Liquid. Only one player lost in the process of retaking into Arsenal.
This got a little scary there with Nova in the position that he was in. Definitely looked like he could have possibly held off while the plant cover was going, or the cover for the plant was going down, but not to be the case. It was well read by Liquid, tossing out the toxic canister to shut them down. And then it was just simply a 2v4. Trying to hold down a 2v4 with minimal cover, a tiny magazine in the Type 89. Almost an impossible task, Michael. So, there you have it. Liquid will need to win this round in order to say that they did a great job emerging on this half. Victory for Mantis FPS would be a 3-3 score differential heading into the second half. Keep in mind that the defense have a mammoth advantage here. You want to run it up as the defenders. Already Liquid have kind of failed to set a wider berth or to establish a wider berth between them and the number one team in Korea.
I think if Mantis FPS can take this one, then we're looking down the barrel of a map 3. But Team Liquid have been playing pretty well. The last time they defended Cash, it really did just come down to individual frag power. Invitational had a monster of a round on their last Cash defense. So I think there's a lot of potential for Team Liquid to shut down the play from Mantis. And also, this is really important. If Mantis commits to a construction take again, I'm sure that Liquid is going to be able to adjust to hold that. It was a really masterful construction take from Mantis last time we were here. They came from below, they opened up the bandit batteries in the mirror windows facing into construction on the A wall. After they did that, they opened the A wall. Then it was a well-placed utility from the attackers to push into Cash. Once they had dislodged the player who was playing behind the bomb chassis using the buck from below, it was a pretty easy take because all of those defenders who were supposed to be anchoring inside of Cash were, well, mobile. Caught into the transition, a lot of easy frags for Mantis. But you gotta imagine Liquid's gonna adjust. Maybe play somebody downstairs in stock, try to counter the way that Mantis FPS took this last time.
I mean, once again, the story for Liquid was very similar to what we saw in Bank. Two disconnected.
Yeah.
Not playing as a team, not playing as a unit. Mantis playing as a unit and clobbering Liquid.
I was wrong, by the way. No adjustment here. Yeah, we've got a Maverick underneath Cash. So you don't need to play underneath, I guess, if there's no buck.
Right.
So that's bad. I mean, he can definitely open things up with his rifle, but not quite this way that nades and skeleton key are going to work. And definitely a huge disadvantage that they did not bring the buck on Mantis FPS. I find often that the operator selection for Mantis is one of their, I think that's probably one of their greatest flaws. They tend not to have the right tool for the job pretty frequently. As you can see, Mantis have actually decided to bring the Maverick, possibly to attack through the server wall, is my assumption here. But they haven't committed to that just yet. In fact, is Maverick up Cash stairs right now? No, okay, he's underneath in stock. That was a little worrisome for a second. Just a waiting game here for Mantis. Again, I think the strategy is to attack probably from construction, considering the situation. They're going to use a breach round to take care of the bandit batteries. Nova's now going to open up the wall into A and so establish the control that they had the last time they were here. Mantis are in a good form, but there's 5 defenders on Liquid still, and that's going to be hard to push into.
I mean, you've still got, as I mentioned before, this triple threat of hard breachers, which is a rarity to see on a lot of maps, but can work very well on Clubhouse. Not really doable on Bank. It's overkill on a lot of places, but CCTV Cash, it's applied very well. And I mean, as long as you can hold down the site and establish a flank watch, it's going to be very difficult for anybody on Liquid to be able to retake, which is exactly what Nesk is looking to do. He's inside a garage, storage just over top of Blue. He's waiting to head up red stairs, and he's got 2 bodies watching him. He's going to get pushed from the Ash, bobbing up and down, but Sweet Black gets shut down as Nova picks up 2 kills on site. Right amidst the fray, Hetty will go for a plan, and Gohan will need to make sure that there's minimal coverage. Invitational with 2 of his own, and Nesk will need to perform a miracle. He's not going anywhere, though, and Invitational will keep this even at 3-3. It's a big victory for Mantis FPS to walk away on attack, tied with Liquid. Changing sides, oh boy, the Latin America team struggling, and might struggle more when they have to go on to attack on Clubhouse.
Hey man, at this point I'm guessing you were right. That's technically a 1-1 for Mantis FPS. Significant victory at that, taking 3 attacking rounds. It's going to be a huge recovery feat if Team Liquid can make it happen, but at this point, it looks like we're going to map number 3. Still early days, suppose. Only halfway through this one. But it certainly does look like a map number 3. Buck, 6 picked off of into a Twitch. And that's going to be a powerful operator here if there were a Mira. And there is not.
Weird flex, but okay.
What?
The 6 pick.
Ah.
Weird flex, but okay.
Yeah. I said flex onto it.
You mentioned that. Yeah, you did. You said there's no Mira, and there was a Twitch, so I said weird flex, but okay.
But okay.
See, Michael, I believe that's called a meme, and I believe the kids do that from time to time. They say things like that. It's hip and relevant, which I try to be so desperately.
Okay. How old are you?
78 years old.
10 seconds remaining.
Damn. I'm only 73.
Deceptively old.
5 seconds to insertion.
It's church defense. Unsurprising, all things considered, to start off there.
Attackers have recovered their defuse.
There was some
Attackers are moving
suspect
out to
site
locate a bomb and defuse.
defenses, in my opinion, on that Immortals Rogue matchup. I know you got a first-hand account of it, but yeah, it was definitely.
It was a weird match, Parker.
Was it, Michael?
It was a very weird match for both teams, and I think it's done now, and we should focus on this one. But mostly because it was a weird match, and I don't want to recollect right this second.
Oh my gosh, Michael, you can't say things are weird. That's rude.
Is it? I'd say it's the polite way of putting it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the big flaw here for Liquid, and the reason that this is, well, obviously the reason we are where we are, is because Liquid failed to defend Cache twice. And why did they fail? Well, they didn't really have a hold strategy for a construction push. That's it. Not enough manpower, not enough muscle facing towards construction. And that's why we find ourselves in such a, really, I think, a bad situation for Liquid.
Surprisingly, Hetty's already taken some damage here.
About to say the same thing, yeah.
Were you about to say that?
I don't know how he took that damage.
To say it.
Surprisingly, Hetty has taken some damage here.
That's weird. I was going to say the same thing.
And I'm not entirely sure how he took that damage. Maybe a Twitch drone, but I don't know. That would have been a lot of zaps, to be honest.
That looks like 60. That looks like 40 damage.
Yeah, it's very unlikely that it was a Twitch drone, but it's possible. We've seen that before.
I think it's more likely that there was probably some team damage done. That would be my guess.
Could be like an impact or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Well, it's done now, and with Team Liquid pushing their way down main stairs, they're just looking to get some control. Legion Trap, of course, going to be an impediment.
And the thing with NV Taylor is that he's going to continuously generate these for the next minute and a bit, and it's going to cut down the narrow avenues you have to get into the site even more. A noticeable absence of Thatcher from Liquid's composition so many times as Gohan relies so heavily on that Twitch, and will do so largely because of the F2. There goes Nova. Gets absolutely shredded by the FAMAS. Ness comes very close to landing a kill of his own, but Hetty is able to take him out, and it's a nice, suitable counterpunch to allow the smoke to actually break free.
He's gonna run upstairs on the deep roam. He will catch an enemy off guard. That's Sexy Cake, so that's 3 for Hetty. Having a really great round so far. He will be right above Gohan, who has been marked. No ace for him, though, as Nelia will finish off Gohan. Hetty gets the last one, though, in a trade. So 4K, all the same, and a great round overall from the smoke of Mantis FPS Hetty.
They'll take the lead. Unsurprising, like we said, when we switch sides on here.
Yep. When we switched sides, it was a 3-3. The prediction shifted. Mantis F should be able to take this one and push us to map number 3. CCTV cache room next.
No gym. Unsurprising.
For Mantis FPS. Yeah, I mean, cache and basement are the go-to sites for most teams.
I feel like the big struggle that teams have with Gym Master is that once you lose control, teams just don't know how to adapt because you get kind of boxed in, right? Can't really rotate through logistics office because there's an open hatch that usually is going to be guarded depending on man count. You're not going to be able to push in through construction because usually that's been opened up, and if not, there's a window in there and somebody might be watching it. It's difficult for you to be able to rotate over to CCTV, even though you can pick somebody off of the windows over on Gym or Master because there's usually somebody watching it, maybe from the roof above. You don't really know. Jacuzzi being opened up, and with usually the typical defender setup will open up some of the wall inside a bathroom, makes it very difficult for you to rotate out of there as well. There's just not a lot of comfortable places to sit for a lot of teams. So if the attackers are swift to be able to crack open the nut that is Gym and Master, you get left with very little safe havens, or few safe havens, for you to sit with any reliability.
Yeah,
You just have nowhere to go.
there's not a lot of anchor positions, and that's the reason, it's the same reason why Team Liquid struggled on Cash. I mean, it's shared between the two sides. Team Liquid, as soon as being pushed away from Cash, they had no way to repel the attackers who were pushing in from construction, as we discussed earlier. So yeah, it sometimes just comes down to it being a shallow site. I mean, it's often been the case for many different maps, and that's always something the attackers are trying to play angles into, pushing people into positions where they just can't retake, using crossfires or just brute force. And in the case of a cash take, for example, from construction, it's brute force. Here, Liquid are not going for a construction push. They are going to opt for the other option, which is CCTV server wall. It also does require you taking into garage, though, and it's going to be a difficult thing to pull off. Twitch drone going to be taken out there. Perspective is a weird thing in Siege. He could see that drone clear as day.
Yeah.
But yeah.
For those that, by the way, that are wondering why everybody is using the exact same uniform, it's because...
You could see his leg!
What? With Nesk? Nesk? Why didn't he shoot it? Maybe it was the uniform.
No, I think the mirror is
camouflage.
I think the mirror is actually playing a default uniform or something along those lines. But yeah, carry on your thought.
I was saying about the uniforms, or that number one makes it extremely hard to distinguish what operator is. There have actually been times where we have been confused by these uniforms because the silhouettes look very different. Yeah, and there's Jaeger can look similar to Doc, etc., so on and so forth, and they tend to blend into a lot of walls as well.
Yeah, I think that's really important about Siege is that we don't have easily identifiable silhouettes. Like the operators, yeah, they have distinct descriptions, or like if you look at them, yeah, you can tell, but you have to really look sometimes. And when you're changing aesthetics, like uniforms and headgear all the time, and you can put them in the ones that blend into the environment very well, it can not only make it difficult to identify the operator, but also see the operator in general. So it can be tricky in Siege, but we skipped over it. Hetty got picked off by Nesk, so he eventually did land that shot that we were critiquing him for not landing immediately.
He might not have been looking in that particular way. You know.
Yeah, we don't have the eye tracker on.
Wasn't really anticipating that. So this hold here at the top of Red Stairs has two bodies from Mantis FPS. Zig is going to get down, and there also goes the diffuser, as somebody trying to revive one of the lone members from Liquid. Nelio sprinting on in. He's amidst the smoke. Will look to push on out, but Zig picked up. And a little bit of revenge, he'll down Nelio. Another body will fall as NV Taylor goes out to Liquid. And I don't know what it is. It's Thermite doing great work on both sides for both teams. Nest takes out Nova after getting kill number one. And Zig going for a successful defuse plant with Sweet Black just biding his time downstairs in stock, waiting to see if there's going to be anybody. He was so close to being able to pull the trigger when shutting Zig down, but as the smoke tries to get back to sight, it'll be 3 kills from Nest to carry the round onwards. And once again, we will be all tied up. These two teams unable to shake each other, no matter how good they do, Michael. It's Nesk sealing the deal with the diffuser down. It's actually been a while since we've seen a successful diffuser get planted. And look at that. Back to a tie.
That's one of those moments when, if you're Sweet Black, you review the VOD when you're watching it back and you see that you were so close to denying the plant. That's going to suck when he eventually does see that. But it was a nice try, and a better attack from Team Liquid. The way that they coordinated that was impressive. I am very confused by the fact that the wall into Cash was opened so easily. I'm not sure if that was actually the defenders opening it, or if the attacking team managed that one. But no matter how you look at it, that wall between A and B being opened gave 2 free kills to Zig. Before that, Nesk got a free kill onto the Mira into the hallway, playing the rappel angle on the south side of the balcony. That's a very common angle to be played. So 2 different angles giving 3 free kills to Liquid because Mantis just peeked them unknowingly. And yeah, at no point was it a challenge. No one from Mantis was trying to take those fights. They just were not aware of the angles that they were exposed to. And that's a little bit disheartening to see. That's lack of game sense in that round for Mantis FPS in general. Yeah, and in a 2 versus 5, it's unlikely you're going to bring it back.
So how do you rectify that issue on a cash defense? Because we're back here now for Mantis.
I mean, I'd say some reinforcements in different locations there, maybe between the sites, or If it was opened by the defenders, don't do that. If it was opened by the attackers, some ADSs well-placed could counter that. Of course, you're not going to be able to hold the server wall, but because of Maverick, but you can do your best to set up server to be a trap the enemies can fall into. I mean, we've seen some really ingenious strategies and that exact mentality from many different teams, like, for example, Reciprocity. The way that they set themselves up here on this site with Mira, who is unmanned currently, is to make server a trap. And it has mixed results. I'm not going to say it's a perfect strategy, but with the way that Liquid are playing right now, it might be just the trick to solve the problem that is Liquid winning these attacks onto Cash when they really shouldn't be.
Just kind of surprised with how little garage control we've also seen here on this site. Remember when we first started to see Cash and CCTV get played? Usually there would be quite a tussle over that garage upstairs on the catwalk. There hasn't really been that much. I mean, there's no Maestro ban. We've actually seen a startling lack of Maestro on Mantis' side of things.
That's true, yeah.
It's kind of odd because he's so powerful on this site in particular.
Mantis, again, their operator selection is probably the most off thing about that team. They've got so much skill and really great synergy, but their operator selection tends to be a little bit weird.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And that rigidity, that lack of flexibility, as you've noted, and the penchant for Mantis to be able to take fights is a major downfall of theirs. Much credit needs to be praised, though, given to them, and they need to be praised for this, is that they've done better to drone.
Yeah.
They have been better at collecting, disseminating information to the rest of their teammates. This is a possible run out being primed from Nova at the top of blue stairs, waiting to see. There is a Valkyrie camera actually out there. It doesn't look like there's anybody watching.
Yeah, this Valkyrie cam could be really influential.
I don't know if he can see through the trash bags. I don't know if that is
No, he can't.
client-sided or not.
He actually missed it. It's supposed to land on the trash bags. We've seen that one a few times before. The trash bags are a set prop in this map, but the Mira, I think, is going to be one of the more influential things. The Valkyrie cam outside is going to be able to call the push, yeah. But the Mira in sight, I want to know if they have a Mira facing from Cash to server. That's my real question.
Nova might have been spotted there, by the way.
They did, but it's been broken. Look at that.
So, here's your execute, but a toxic canister will greet them. A smoke grenade gets tossed in from the attackers on either side.
Oh!
Two for the price of one from Hetty. As Gohan will try to give his own with two. You know, Sweet Black and then Hetty. Nesk inhaling a lot of those toxic canisters. Still, the damage will tick away as he pulls a goo mine out of his foot. Nelio under siege now as he's just trying to hold off multiple angles. The Legion of Envy Taylor gets pulled on into the site. And it's a diffuse plant that was going down from Gohan that gets aborted. Apollo with two and the Nesk clean up. Liquid makes that round end quickly after the killing starts. And they'll regain the lead. Would you look at that? And they're only 2 rounds away, Michael, from sealing Mantis' fate and ending their run here through the group stages.
So we're going to have a tactical pause by Mantis, and they're going to try and assess how to move forward. So Parker, that Cash defense, you asked me how to change it. In, second time around here, it's pretty clear what's going on. Team Liquid are opening up the wall into Cash, and after they've got the server wall open, it creates such an easy angle for them to dictate both of the bomb sites. I think, honestly, the solution is one thing. Reinforce the wall that's getting opened up, and then put your mirror window on it. Because they've been putting the mirror window there every time, but the wall left unreinforced, I mean, it's ineffectual. I think we've also been seeing Twitch from Gohan pretty much every single round. So you've got to protect that mirror window. Maybe bring a mute, some kind of tool to assist you in denying the Twitch drones. Of course, mute's not a perfect solution, but you've got to do something to keep control of server. Not necessarily of server directly, but at least by proxy. Holding inside of Cash is essential, and when you've got an angle that's being opened up from the balcony all the way into Cash, and there's nothing you can do to contest it as a defender, it's tricky, man. I mean, we saw the Jaeger in that round do his darndest to use a shield and the actual hard wall on that on that floor to hold out, but it just wasn't enough. Well, they get to go back down to the basement, and I think this is definitely going to be very good for Mantis FPS. It'll probably bring them up to that 5-5, but the tricky thing is that if they can't win anything other than basement, which they have yet to do, then it's not going to matter. Team Liquid will be able to take this. There's not been a try of Jim yet, though, from Mantis FPS, so...
No, it was a Church victory and then 2 losses to Team Liquid on Cash, and now back down to Church you go.
Oh no, Mantis FPS are going for that pre-placed C4, it looks like again. Or at least going for the camera that enables the pre-placed C4 in the kitchen hallway.
Pre-placed C4s are a risky gambit because, I mean, they make noise, right?
It's worked for Mantis once before, yesterday, but I think it's predictable at this point. I doubt they're going to actually go for it. He might just, I mean, maybe.
You never really know. There's one Valkyrie camera down. Gohan might be able to find the other if he sees it, but no, it's tucked in behind that exit sign, I believe.
Yeah, it is, and it's a difficult one to spot. It's a pretty common one, but it's still hard to spot, and people often overlook it.
I wouldn't say it's common now. I would have said that it was much more common way back. And I think it's fallen out of vogue.
It is definitely an older one. That's fair enough, but but as you say, falling out of vogue. I mean, it's the cyclical meta. It just is whatever is least expected is most effective in certain situations like Valkyrie camps.
I should have said falling out of favor. It's
Yeah.
not in vogue. I mashed the idioms.
Did you mash the idioms, Parker? You've been mashing a lot of idioms recently. There's the pre-placed C4.
Missed.
It missed, yeah, so it's a bad call. A little too early there for Mantis FPS. Unfortunate if you're a Mantis fan. Very fortunate if you're a Liquid fan.
Yikes. Yeah. So a bit of a scare for Liquid as that C4 does go off, doesn't claim anybody. Double hard breach from Liquid will allow them to crack open the site. If there's any impact tricking from Envy Taylor or Heady, that could possibly be the undoing of any hard breach that goes on any of the hatches. Now, with Envy sustaining quite a bit of damage over the last 10 seconds or so, last 5 seconds, I would suspect that he probably tried to impact trick it and somebody was watching. There's soft destruction from Team Liquid in both the Ash as well as Palu holding on to that secondary shotgun. So he could have opened up some of the floor upstairs and kitchen and allowed the Hibana to do good work. But we don't really know just yet. The signature mark of Liquid is Nesk literally just waiting for the sound of somebody on the team to say push on in. The Valkyrie will peek out. Oh, beautiful shot. Nesk, here's your chair. Take a seat. Sweet Black, what a marvelous kill on to Nesk. As Gohan's just going to miss the Jaeger peeking on out.
Didn't even take any damage there. And with Gohan missing his mark inside of blue, this is looking like a pretty solid defense for Mantis FPS. Legion Trap's going to give away Gohan's intention. He cannot take it out. Nova will secure the kill. And here we go. 2 up for Mantis. Make that 3, make that 4, and it's all of them. A complete sweep and a perfect round for Mantis FPS on the basement. They might not be able to win anywhere else on defense, but they're quite convincing on the basement.
So now we'll move back to Cash, or either Gym Master. And are we going to see Jim? There we go. Jim.
I think that makes sense.
It does. I mean, you tried Cash twice, didn't go anywhere. Go over to Jim. Go over to the master bedroom.
Yeah.
Oh, what a fake out.
What does he fake? What did I miss?
You're going back to CCTV Cash.
Oh, okay. Look at that.
I'd already written Jim in my notebook.
Yeah, I wrote Jim in my notebook too.
I also wrote Jim in my New Year's resolutions, and I guess that didn't help at all, Michael.
I didn't do that. And also quite literally didn't do that. So. That's pretty nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, that's nice.
It is, isn't it?
Used by attack.
All right. So you go over to Cash CCTV.
Yeah.
Everything fell apart because the ability to hold control of that CCTV wall is all but impossible when that triple threat of hard breachers is brought.
Will Mantis reinforce the wall between sides and put a mirror window on? Or are they just going to go for, hey, they're doing it! They're doing it, Parker!
They're doing it, Michael.
They're doing it. So they're going to reinforce it, then put a mirror window on it. Here's the tricky thing. Twitch is still a thing. Think twice there. Here's the tricky deal.
10 seconds
Because
remaining.
Twitch is in play, the drones can open up the mirror window. And while it is much safer from potentially Ash charges, it's still very exposed. Gohan is a very good Twitch as well. An excellent Twitch, I would say. And if his drones are allowed to make their way up Cash stairs or through construction to get that mirror window, it will have the same effect in all likelihood that the Ash charge has been having on that wall. Not quite as potent, but a similar effect at the very least.
Gohan's often overshadowed by the fact that he was on a team with one of the best Twitches in all of the region. Possibly one of the best Twitches in the world on Astro at the time.
True.
Astro has been moved off and is obviously playing a different role on FaZe still. And after Gohan made his departure from his team, he's found new life doing IGL work, and then of course also
Located by attackers.
being able to frag quite well on Liquid's side of things. Very rhythmic. 45 seconds in, you've already got the wall open into CCTV. And now you can go onto drones and continue to do the rest of the work and see exactly where Mantis has retreated to, as you'll have to flush them out one by one in order to pick them off. Nesk is looking to try and push into Garage, which makes a lot of sense. That's where Nesk has been quite a bit. There's a body of Mantis just laying in wait at the top of the Garage, or so it would appear. And Nova is downstairs inside of Oil Pit, primed and ready with a Nitro Cell to toss on up.
It's a good position if your teammates can coordinate well with you. The information, though, there's only a Mira, and other than that, you're working with default cameras. It's very dangerous. Nesk looking to get the angle onto the smoke and catwalk. Again, tricky angle to achieve, but he hasn't moved. He's just been on cameras this whole time. I'm guessing using default cam again, but hasn't moved even slightly. Aware that he doesn't need to. He just needs to waste time, which is so far been a successful operation for Mantis FPS, as plenty of time is gone. Nitro Cell expended by the Bandit, it seems, and completely useless, not accomplishing much of anything.
Nesk is looking, oh, the wrong way, and it was Sweet Black. We got the beautiful shot on the Nest last time around, but there will be some repayment here, and a bit of redemption and retribution, almost. You also lose Nova. I know a great kill from Palu. The softwall getting opened up. I don't know exactly what Neilio was thinking there with very limited information. There's no Valkyrie on the board.
I don't think he was.
And he wasn't really thinking much at all. Envy Taylor picks up 2 kills on a Gohan and Sexy Cake, but still a lead for Liquid for the time being. There's a smoke that's going to go off, and Liquid will sprint on in. There's a C4 that gets tossed out, though, and this could be a big deal, but no, Nesk shuts it down, and it's another kill for the Ash. What a tremendous play from Nesk to move his team onto match point in a 4K on the round, proving that utility isn't necessarily all that matters when your only real utility is killing everything that moves.
That C4 from the Mira might have been too far, it might have been just right, but that's not the point that I'm going to get at. The point is, he delayed detonating it, allowing Nest to rush into Cash and eliminate him. Curious call there. I'm guessing he was trying to fight back against Nesk first, but he second-guessed that decision in the middle of the engagement.
I actually think he just got caught as he was putting his phone away, or just as he was pulling his phone out.
I mean,
we'd have to go to instant replay, Michael.
I'm pretty sure he delayed for about half a second.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, but of course that's not a substantial amount of time. It could have been the difference between him getting a kill or two or not. And that aside, it would not have changed the outcome of the round, period. Nesk still would have gotten both of those kills. And sure, the plant might not have gone down, but who cares? So, Team Liquid, match point, series point, 6-5.
Elimination point for Mantis as well.
Yeah, so if they lose, they're gone. It's done. Nesk on 14 kills. Really standing up here, trying to give Liquid the best chance possible and having an excellent match. It's going to be a Gym Master defense for the last try here for Mantis. They can make more tries, but they have to win this round to get to OT for that to happen. No more chances after this.
We have a bit of an update for everybody as well. So spoilers inbound! Evil Geniuses are up 1-0 over Nora Rengo. End spoiler, that's it.
Okay.
EG is one round away, or one map away rather, from securing their spot. As that's the final. The winner's bracket has gone so fast.
It has.
The winner's bracket is almost done, and we could be an entire map behind here on the B stream. I don't know what it is with the B stream, Michael.
Slow.
The B stream be late to the party.
Just not going to respond.
That one was so bad. So we still have a stream in Penta after this.
Yes.
That one was bad. I'm sorry. I'm genuinely sorry. I apologize. I thoroughly and unreservedly apologize.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Forgive you, Parker.
Thank you very much. All right, Michael. Possible
Yes.
final round, or we'll see overtime. Liquid was able to dig deep and stave off overtime on bank. Will we see similar circumstances here as Nesk is on committed run-out duty? There goes the jacuzzi wall. Opened up.
It certainly seems like Liquid's in the driver's seat right now, but here's the big factor. We're defending Jim as Mantis FPS, and they've never done that before. So, in the middle of the unknown, Mantis FPS could flourish. That's on them. Liquid are clearing out from server and cache, and they've already established there are no roamers at that location. Once they have that control, they're gonna have a good cover of all the different exits to this site. Now here's the tricky thing. 1 minute left for Liquid. So they've spent a lot of time doing a lot of nothing in this round.
I'm very surprised why Nesk is watching an angle where it looks like Sexy Cake is also watching.
I think he's on the balcony.
He could be on the other side of it.
And opening holes in the wall.
Yeah.
But either way, it's very inefficient droning from Liquid to not know that that is clear.
I was going to say, where exactly are Mantis then? They must have first floor presence, no? They've got Neilio in sight, Sweet Black is below, Logistics Office has Envy Taylor.
Nobody's droning here for Liquid. They don't know cache is clear still, and there's 40 seconds left.
Yeah, and you got to hurry. You got to pick it up, Team Liquid. Get going at this point. Mantis is gaining an advantage, and Mantis, for their fans, they're looking to just simply hold on. There goes Ness to take out Sweet Black as Gohan circles on in, but he doesn't check as Envy Taylor and Eddie pick up a pair. And it'll be an advantage that favors Mantis. Ness now will have to go up the main stairs as Sexy Cake eliminates Eddie. A sprint in from Zig, answered by Envy Taylor. And Ness will alert anybody to his position as he hits the barbed wire. He might have two bodies in front of him, as he's going to be the only one left. He doesn't check his corners, and he gets gunned down, and overtime awaits us. We know exactly how Melly Jenny loves to say this, screaming, overtime! And that's exactly what's going to happen, as both teams tied up 6-6. And what looked like it could be Liquid putting it away. We could still have a third map ahead of us, Michael.
Absolutely right, Parker. It's entirely possible. But this is the first overtime for this series so far. It's going to be basement, and it will be Mantis who get to defend first. And I would call that a disadvantage, all things considered. That gym defense was pretty solid, but I think it was mostly just a really bad attack from Liquid, and I'm hopeful for their sake that they're going to be able to adjust things moving forward. One of the most inefficient attacks I've seen in a while onto gym, as a matter of fact, and all that needed to be done there is a little bit of droning way earlier in the round. Probably would have seen a different result, but no. It'll be a basement hold here from Mantis. Go figure. This is their best site, hands down. They should be able to take this one, push themselves onto map point. That'll force Liquid to go on to defense next, and they should also win the basement defense. Do not believe any team has won an attack onto the basement in this series, and yep, nope, no one's won attacking bottom floor. So, Team Liquid could give us something amazing here and win an attack on the bottom floor, which would pretty much secure the map in the series. Or the expected will happen. Both teams win bottom floor defense, then Mantis FPS has to either hold gym or cache, both of which look really difficult, despite that win that we just saw from Mantis on gym.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser. Attackers are moving out to locate
It's a coin toss, right? At that point.
Yeah, it really is. I think the gym defense is probably going to be Mantis' best bet once they get there, if they get there. But, I don't know. Again, I think that Liquid had a really bad attack strategy in their gym assault, and I think that they're probably going to be able to adjust into a different one moving forward.
So we'll see exactly what Nesk is capable of accomplishing here. Is his eyebrow-raising 4K is something that a lot of, I guess, players would probably be a bit proud of, but for Nesk, it's just another day at the office.
Reloading.
Yep,
That's all.
he gets a lot of those.
He does. Oh,
Exceptionally talented player.
I was going to say, I was worried that you were going to see another C4 go up there, and we were going to catch a very first-hand glimpse at it.
I like that game knowledge there from Nesk. He knew exactly where he needed to prone, knew the angle he needed to shoot to get that default camera.
For people like him, it's routine, right?
Yep, it is. Yeah. It's just impressive to see, no matter the situation.
There's
Basic stuff, though.
those small things can be so impressive.
Yeah, and they can, and really influential. I mean, how many times have we seen that exact default cam actually influence the outcome of a round?
A lot.
A lot. It's one of the more potent ones, and because of that, taking out the camera before you even start pushing the main hallway, very important.
So Gohan inside of blue is a pretty typical spot for him to play. He's just going to wait to see if there's anybody behind the machinery at the bottom of the stairs. It's going to peek on out. That's where Nova's going to play. And the Jaeger will be fully extended and prone on the ground, but none of his body parts or appendages will show to the ACOG site of that F2. The rest of Liquid arranged in various positions to begin their assault, most of whom tend to be on that main stairs. Still got all the hard destruction as well from both Zig and Sexy Cake, and it will likely be a church take unless the read is clear that B is free enough to push onto.
Neska's going to have to take a gamble here with that if he decides to open it. There are 2 Arsenal defenders deep on the east, and that's going to be the perfect counter to a push here from Nesk if he decides to commit. He has opened up the wall, sees no enemies close. Still, though, not going to be an easy push. Inside a tunnel is Gohan, and he gets an easy kill on a Sweet Black, who doesn't seem to be paying much attention. Adjustments, though, from the defense, and Hetty's going to get a double kill onto Paula and Sexy Cake. That is a huge shutout from Hetty. Fantastic round so far from him. Gohan misses a shot there, but finally landed on Anelio through the smoke. Very impressively done. Nova's going to shut down Nesk as he tries to come from the main stairs. Nova also trying to deny the push into B. He's got a lot of teammates to make this happen. Hetty and Invitational shut out the last 2 attackers. And Mantis FPS win the round they're supposed to, defending the basement.
What a sloppy round from Liquid.
Well, true.
Like, my big takeaway there is just what an immense amount of sloppiness that was.
Yeah, I'm not going to dispute that. I completely agree.
Nesk saw that there was a rotate over towards pulse spot from what appeared to be, I believe it was the Legion that he caught. Doesn't capitalize on it. Doesn't see anybody playing there. Doesn't drone end a hallway where the Jaeger is playing. You have 2 bodies stacked up with the smoke still available. Inside a tunnel, Gohan rotates all the way around from blue stairs, over to tunnel, gets a kill, gets 2 kills actually, if I recall. Just overall, a mess for Liquid. And it's not that difficult to be able to respond when you see all of these mistakes being committed, which is what happened from Mantis FPS. They dove on every opportunity that was presented to them.
Yeah, I agree. At the same time, I mean, this is the round they're supposed to win, Parker. Defending the basement is defending the basement on Clubhouse. You should be taking that. And in this match, we have yet to see anyone successfully attack the basement. So, with the tactical timeout coming in from Liquid, I don't know if this is the perfect moment for it, to be honest with you. Maybe after the following round would be a good time, because they should win this hold downstairs. Team Liquid should win this. It should be a pretty easy one at that. If they do lose, of course they're going to lose the map, but they should be planning for their last round, and hopefully, for Liquid's sake, that's what they did do. This is curious though. Nova going to be bringing a blitz, and he's 6-picked into it, so he doesn't want Liquid to know that he's bringing that blitz, which is going to make it a little bit more powerful, and then it's got the surprise factor, at least for a moment. It is a very loud operator, so Blitz will give away his existence pretty quickly into the round.
One of the benefits of extending these games so long is that these kill counts will just soar.
Yeah.
Invitational 14 kills, 10 assists.
Yeah. He's having a really good match, and you can see he's only got 6 deaths. He's only died on the rounds that his team has lost. Very impressive.
Worthy of a golf clap.
5 seconds remaining.
There you go. All right, so it's another church defense. You speculated correctly. Both teams will likely win their church defense, and then a flip of the coin as to where. Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
You speculated correctly about the first round of defense. You also speculated correctly that both teams will go to church to start things off with. That's 2 wins for you, Michael.
Okay.
Now the real question is, how does Mantis do on this take? Because you need Liquid to win in order for your prediction to hold true.
Well, this round, yeah. As far as overall,
that's what I just said.
Yeah.
You need them to win right here.
So
that we go to round 15.
Mm-hmm. As far as overall, I wouldn't be surprised if either team manages to take it. I mean, this has been a really close contest. Mantis FPS clearly proving they're good on this map. Liquid the same thing. This is a good map for both teams, and yeah, I mean that's the end of that story. I think the blitz play could be the thing that allows Mantis FPS to push past the, conventional and win this round. Because, again, nobody has won an attack onto the bottom floor. You need some kind of tool to give you an edge, and blitz is definitely going to be one of those.
Recon work here from Gohan as that 9-meter range of the pulse sensor is going to be used to good measure.
Located a bomb.
It's a successful impact trick on the hatch above, and say goodbye to Sweet Black. Trying to give his team the best advantage possible, Gohan will start things off, using his explosives to the best of his ability. Taking out the only set of frag grenades on Mantis' side, and also the soft destruction that works so well.
Yeah, that's...
Keep in mind that if you have Neilio running the breaching charges, that, well, you could still have quite a bit of soft destruction. And also, if you just got to see Nova's view of that drone, this could end up being really strong as the Mira is completely under watch. Now a second for Invitational will go on in. And Zig could be very dead very quickly. But still the main hurdle for Nova is going to be to try and choke off this Mira window. And there you go. C4 gets tossed out. It won't go off, and the Blitz is just sprinting in, his very namesake. As he walks on in, and there are the pings and the marks, but Nova will be gunned down, establishing a nice crossfire as Liquid with both Zig and Gohan there. But oh no, the thermite is in! Hetty pulls out pistol, and it's a big volley. Hetty with 2, Invitational with 2. Palu, where are you? Get to sight! He's gonna be locked out, and Mantis will take the map and send us to border. Liquid, oh, you were in good position, but Mantis digging deep, and we still have another map. Lestream and Penta, you're going to have to wait for the time being, because this one, well, it's not over. Not yet.
Well, I guess you were right in the overall predictions. Mantis managed to take it. It was about as close as it could have been.
Sorry, say that again.
Blitz has a really low pick rate. In fact, one of the lowest picked, or the least picked attackers in all of competitive Siege. I mean, he just doesn't get brought a whole lot, and his potency is usually not that much. And honestly, in that round, he didn't really do very much. He walked in through the breach and accomplished little to nothing. Something very interesting is happening over on the main stream right now.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah, don't know what it is, but it's got to be interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Blitz didn't really do very much there. It came down mostly to Mantis having excellent frag potential. And yeah, it was just incredibly impressive. What's wrong? You good? So yeah, good job to Mantis fragging out in that last round. They really shouldn't have won it. Liquid should have been able to take that pretty easily, but well, not the case. I mean, I'm honestly kind of surprised. I think Liquid wasn't expecting just to lose their fights like that. The gunplay from Mantis has always been their main takeaway, the thing that impresses most people about that team, and it won them that round. It may not be able to win you all the rounds, it may not be able to win you all the maps, but certainly did that one in particular.
We talk a lot about curses, Michael.
Do we?
And
Are you
stop.
witch doctor?
And oh, we're back on us. Okay, cool. All right. Didn't know the replays were ending.
Nor did I.
That's cool.
I would have warned you.
I would thank you. I was in the middle of
Writing
notes
something
for
down.
the
Yeah.
next round. That's cool. What I was going to say is we talk a lot about curses, okay? Team Liquid have never made it out of group stages for a major. They fell short in their group to Mind Freak, now known as Fnatic, the Paris Major, or in the 6 Invitational. In the Paris Major, they got knocked out in the group that they were in with Obey and Vitality, as well as Nora Rengo. They had a very short trip. I don't know what it is with these French-speaking countries, but they tend to be the kryptonite, apparently, of Liquid to be able to make it out of group stages. And here we are again, losing their momentum. And this is a momentum loss. They barely beat Mantis on map number 1. Mantis barely beat them on map 2, let's be honest with each other. But now we head to border.
I mean, even
Anyone's game.
here's the thing, Parker. Even if Liquid win this match against Mantis, I mean, it's not over. They've got to hold on to. They've got to hold on till they get to play another match, and they could still get eliminated. So, I don't know. I mean, there's something to be said about the momentum, yes, in an individual match. But if we're talking about the curse that Liquid has for majors, I don't know if they're going to be able to break it in this match, by itself, and be able to carry that forward into another win and move into the actual main event. I don't know. It's been a really tricky one for. I keep saying that word. I don't know why. It's been a really difficult run for Liquid for a long time in all of the majors they've ever attended.
Yeah. Unfortunate for them, but we have just a short content piece for you as we wait while the teams go get a bathroom break and go get some beverages, and we await our third match between these two teams. Enjoy.
My in-game tag is Ironic. I was originally in one of the earliest tests, and I didn't really like it at first. It wasn't a simple game, and I think at some point that started bothering me so much that I put in more time to learn it. I started falling in love with the game and played it a lot. I think Invitational is like the reminder once a year that everyone has the same interest. It's amazing to have this one thing that connects everything. Knowing that this one coming up is bigger and better, and I can't even imagine it.
Always nice to see Zeronic celebrated with the Behind the Siege series, which is going to be debuting itself during the Invitational over the 15th, 16th, and the 17th. So make sure that you're looking out. All the content pieces are being published. It's an incredible honor to see the 9 recipients, of whom will have posters done / artwork that's been done for them, and then the short mini documentaries as well that will be airing at various times during the actual event itself. As the Rainbow Six Invitational, or the Six Invitational as we call it, is moving away not just from being a sole esports focus, but also more of a celebration and appreciation for everybody in the community.
I think it's always been that.
Cosplayers. I think they called it, I think they believe, or I believe, it was referred to by the developers as a love letter to the Siege community.
Yeah, I think that's been the plan since Invitational 1, and it's good that they've kept that tradition true.
So, as the players get assembled at their computers and we get to look towards Border, as our third map, the aggressiveness that we saw from Liquid on Bank that was a bit disjointed at times didn't always work out the best. When you look at Clubhouse, it's usually a bit more static, not exactly the same style. I mean, you got a couple sites where you can have a very off-site roam presence, etc. But Border tends to play out not in an inflexible way, Michael, but very standard for a lot of teams. Now, when you look at the pitfalls of both of these teams and I guess the setbacks that they both suffered, a lack of distinct coordination and a lot of individual plays that can end up blowing up in their face on Liquid's side, and Mantis's inability to give each other information, how much do both of those impact a team on Border?
I mean, the basic coordination is going to be in the favor of Liquid, as we discussed. I would say that Mantis has been the ones relying primarily on the fraggers individually. We saw it especially highlighted in that last round on Clubhouse. I'd say for Border, it's not a map like Consulate or Coastline where you can really just rely heavily on your fraggers, but it's also not a map like Clubhouse where it means more to have solid strategies. I think it's a bit of a mix, and that's what makes it one of the more well-balanced maps out there in Siege. So is it going to favor one mentality or another? Not necessarily. I think that it's going to highlight the play from both teams really well because it's going to give a nice even platform for both of them to excel. But as to who's going to be the one taking the trophy home and moving forward in the bracket, I have no freaking idea. The way that this match has been playing out, it could go either way. And I honestly expected Liquid to take map number 2. I truly thought that they were going to be capable of that, but they just couldn't edge it out in the end. And again, that individual frag power that Mantis have shown was, well, I mean, they won the last round with it hands down.
I mean, I had Mantis winning Clubhouse just based on previous results.
Based on previous results, we should see Liquid win it, though.
Right, but I also see how close Mantis was against G2. Now, if you go down the list of different teams playing against each other, G2 struggled a little bit on Clubhouse against Mantis, but overall, they thumped them 2-0. G2 obliterated Mocket in their matchup previously. Mocket beat Liquid, and Liquid looked like they were really struggling through most of that match. And now Liquid are also struggling against Mantis FPS. I mean, when you really look at it, I think you got a pretty good argument that both Liquid and Mantis are on very similar levels. And
Yes.
there's just this potential that Liquid has that has not been, I don't know, just hasn't quite been met. I don't know what it is. I'm not entirely certain why, but they're going to need to get it together. If you're a fan of this team, man, you will be going home very empty-handed unless Liquid can walk away with a couple very important starting rounds here. Operator ban's coming out, and it's going to be a Ying ban from Mantis FPS. Pretty standard given the way that you know that Ying is used by Liquid on a variety of different maps,
Especially border.
especially Border.
So very powerful on this map. You get very shallow attacks that are available on sites like Armory. You can just throw 1 or 2 Ying Candelas in and completely disable the defense, forcing retake strategies. And that's never fun when defending Armory. So I think that's a good ban. I'm also going to see Echo taken out. Also not very surprising. One of the best tools for retake strategies, an Echo, Yokai drone specifically. Armory as the next, or first, I suppose, site here to be defended. Mantis giving the advantage of starting on defense, and that is quite a large advantage to have in this situation, given that we find ourselves in that defender-sided meta. Interesting that we're going to see a Rook bot and a 6-pick into the Rook, no less. I'm not sure what the thought process is behind 6-picking off of a mute. I mean, yeah, faking out operators is a thing. Faking out a mute makes no sense at all. If you're... the mutes warn you before you get close to the jammers, right? There's the little buzz and the sound, and it's pretty obvious when you're near a mute jammer, so you don't have to, like, be cautious of hitting a mute jammer. You just have to... Oh, there's no mute jammer there? Okay, I can drone that. So, weird 6-pick off of the mute, but onto the Rook.
Oh, this would have been the perfect time to say weird flex, but okay.
10 seconds
I
remaining.
used it too early.
I
I used it way too early.
I guess
5
so,
seconds
yeah.
remaining.
Michael, can you just give me something? You just gotta give me one thing.
You used it
Attackers
too
have
early?
recovered their
Thank you,
diffuser.
Michael.
Attackers are heading
You're
out
welcome,
to
Thank you for
Parker.
agreeing with my inadequacy.
Okay.
Double run out
Yeah, they're going for CCTV and putting up barbed wire in the transition.
and an evil eye cam outside.
It's a curious setup for Mantis. One of the things that Mantis excels at is doing things so weird that the enemy team just doesn't know how to handle it. It's their own meta, and
Yeah.
that's something that it definitely is strength of Mantis, without question.
It's also an old play. I mean, Maestro's not that old of an operator, but teams have definitely put evil eyes outside before.
Not saying original, just saying things that people don't expect.
Right. That's a fair way of putting it, I think.
Yeah. A run out here from an impact, and oh no, NV Taylor gets nothing, but Nova does! A refrag from the Valkyrie. Sweet Black also eliminating Sexy Cake, and look at the aggression from Mantis FPS, getting 2 kills for the price of 1.
That's quite a cheeky run out, all things considered. Man.
Yeah. Well, a series of runouts, I guess. Inside of CCTV, got Neilio. He's doing his best to challenge, and well, it's just a few seconds, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. He's doing his best to challenge onto the south balcony, where you see Nesk located. West balcony is covered by this Evil Eye. Very powerful position for an Evil Eye. Nova's also inside of CCTV. So you've got 2 roamers of the 4 in CCTV.
Nova's just waiting. I can't believe a double run out actually works at this day and age.
Yeah.
Unassuming. Did Gohan just miss the grenade that he was,
Straight up mistimed it, yeah.
intending? Oh man, if Liquid tilts early, major issue for them overall. That would be
Unfortunate.
very unfortunate, to say the least.
Agreed. So, Zig going to be rappelling onto that west balcony, but look at the time. So much time wasted by the attackers thanks to the aggression from the defense, and they really don't know how to recover from this. Look at this. Buck also moving up main stairs. Nova's going to eliminate Gohan thanks to this excellent information being gathered by the Valkyrie camps. Good communication on the side of Mantis FPS. 2 attackers remaining, and they're going to try and push their way in through the armory wall. So far only having 1 kill, and it was thanks to a run out from the defenders. Nesk will get Nelio, so there's the second one for Liquid. And they're looking for a third. It's going to be Hetty. Nova from below, though, with the C4 will take out Nesk. Shutting him down, it's just Zig to get finished off by Sweet Black. An excellent defense there from Mantis, meeting Liquid at every turn.
Yeah, really remarkable play there from them in many occasions. Taking huge gambles at the start, it pays off, gets under the skin of Liquid. Throw off that strategy, too. That's the big thing. It completely threw Liquid off of their groove. By taking out Gohan early on, you have the device denial that's gone from the Twitch drone, being able to zip-zap any gadgets that might be in its way. I have issues with Zig being able to go on in after, I believe it was Zig who took quite a bit of damage, too. At least at the early onset of that. Not exactly the best start for Team Liquid.
Nope.
But the rotation is going to favor them depending on the way that Mantis plays this one out. Ventilation and Workshop downstairs is your default 2-site for Border. And there's a number of ways that you can crack it if you're Liquid. A singular hard breacher on the Thermite means that you're likely going to take from the bathroom wall. That's essentially where you'd imagine their push is going to come from. Unless you see Mantis decide to invest heavy reinforcements above. If that's the case, you'll have to use your Thermite possibly to open up armor to try and dislodge the few defenders that might be playing on the floor above your site.
And we've seen that a lot, though. The hard destruction being used to take top floor is not unusual when defending ventilation. I mean, it's because top floor is so... It's such a good position to hold ventilation. I mean, vertical play has always been a thing in Siege, right? But it was, I think, really solidified on Border. When competitive play in Siege came to Border, people realized that they could play Armory and Ventilation very similarly, that they could defend Ventilation from Armory, just opening up a few places. That's when competitive players really started to realize, hey, it's a viable strategy. It's a thing I can do quite a lot. And this was really early days. We're talking ages ago. So, yeah, I wouldn't say that it's a recent revelation, but it's definitely one worth noting that Border was pioneering.
Yeah. All right, so here you go. 30 seconds, still information in hand, no control whatsoever of that Armory side of things. Nest does take out Nelio, though, and I might have spoken too soon, Michael, as Envy Taylor falls and Sweet Black is there to take out the one member of Team Liquid. There's another body up there, Zig. He's going to try to drone out Sweet Black alongside Gohan, so double drones and bye-bye Paulo, as this is excellent for Nova. It's the kill, and Mantis be at a 3v3. Nesk almost coming on in and making all of Mantis's life miserable. It's left to be a correction now from Liquid. With two members of the team who aren't primarily frag getters in both Zig and Sexy Cake, Gohan is going to have to be the one to really do the heavy lifting.
Absolutely right. He's just outside of B and got plenty of time to make this take happen. Droning for Hetty. Will find him. Ooh, and he's not going to go for the mark. He knows that the smoke is exposed. It could be a very easy kill, and there's two inside of B. He needs to time this properly, though. He's double checking. Why are none of his teammates checking for him? Shotgun blast comes on the window, and it's too little too late. I have no idea why nobody checked that for him. Truly confusing. The fact that he double checked there was the result in of itself. No time to go for the peak. The smoke had already relocated. Speaking of time, down to the last minute here, and up against a wall. Team Liquid has a lot of utility, but they don't have a lot to show for it.
It's a bit of an unfortunate situation for Sexy Cake there to inhale some of the toxic gas through the wall. And he's gonna have to back off. Possibly still able to use those logic bombs. Got one remaining. You have still your smoke grenades. There's an opportunity here. Zig has not used his exothermic charges either, because I think the contest was likely going to be upstairs, but you didn't need them for Nest to be able to sprint on in. It's a bit of a suspect choice to take a hard breacher in this case. Could have possibly run a Hibana instead. Once again, the smoke grenade through the wall, and oh, Nova runs out! Grabs Sexy Cake, Zig refrags, and it's a 2v2. 20 seconds as Gohan will need to clear above. Is there anybody waiting for him? No, both members of Mantis are on that bottom floor, just trying to hold off. Not a lot of time to work with. And Liquid could possibly be in peril yet again. Zig and Gohan will have to do great work, but no, the shotgun from Hetty, 3 shots. Zig is there for the retrade. Take out Hetty, or the refrag rather. Sweet Black waiting to drop. Knows that he's got Zig, and Zig is too vulnerable. Tons of time left, but no!
Oh!
Sweet Black! How do you take so long? Zig gets it when he really shouldn't have. Oh my! What were you doing? You had so much opportunity, but no information, no calls. That should have been Mantis's round 110%. And they lose it in the dying seconds.
Oh, no. That was an absolutely terrible round from Sweet Black. The rest of Mantis FPS playing pretty well, all things considered. That run out from Nova managed to take out the Dokkaebi. What did Dokkaebi have? 2 phone calls and 2 smokes. Would have been great at isolating the B bomb site. But in that round, because Nova was able to take him down before he became useful, it made it much more difficult for Team Liquid to take that. You could see the faces of Mantis FPS muted as they're aware they really should have taken that round. Unable to do so, and that has got to, well, really hurt.
I can't believe that Zig was able to keep that round together.
There's no way he wins that round, and he won it.
There's no way.
There's no way.
1v1, timer run out, still 2 seconds, vulnerable. You weren't planting in a default spot. You weren't planting in a place that was noticeable necessarily from the drop, but no, you should have seen him.
He should have seen him, yeah. If he had,
that drop.
if he had, the problem is that we didn't see it, of course, but I know exactly what Sweet Black did. Instead of dropping straight to the floor, Sweet Black decided to drop onto the server rack. Following the drop on the server rack, he decided to go for the desk and then for the floor. That's a 3-way drop. All of those take time. If he had just gone to the floor, which you can do, you can highway it all the way to the bottom, he very likely would have had an easy clutch, as that's also the only way you're going to see the angle onto the thermite. But he played it poorly. End of story. Zig managed to get a nasty flick as well onto Sweet Black. So, credit where credit is due. We're going back to ventilation. And why? Because Mantis lost a round they really shouldn't have.
Yeah, like you said, that's not a round that you lose, and they still lost it.
A big part of it was also Nesk. Remember Nesk on the top floor? He got a 2K, essentially for free. How? He walked in through Armory door.
He walked in through Armory door and got 2 kills.
Very impressive.
Immediately. This is a great drone here from Nesk. I can't believe nobody, there you go. I was gonna say, I can't believe nobody would see
They
that.
heard you, Parker.
NV Taylor's like, oh, hold on a second here. I see this, I see you.
Nesk is looking for some angles. He's got a soft wall. He's waiting for somebody to drone him in, and that's going to be Zig. The defenders have fallen back to lockers, not trying to hold on to half wall any longer. Probably the right call in this situation.
Yeah. This once again might be an easy entry up top, but what do we noticed? Oh,
That's unfortunate.
that is very unfortunate. You really don't expect an ADS to be there necessarily, right?
It was actually in the middle of the room, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So a very odd spot, that's for sure.
Still multiple bodies from Mantis upstairs. They will aggressively hold on, essentially, as many people say, establish a beachhead inside of Armory, with Neilio being the main point of contact. But running down the clock being your primary goal, yeah, you're doing a pretty good job of it. Zig has used 1 exothermic charge to open up jail, which is quite heavily fortified. We know that the Valkyrie of Nova is playing inside of Customs, but because Zig doesn't have a 3rd exothermic charge, as Thermite does not, and there is no other hard breacher for Liquid, their advance will be stalled, at least for the time being. So good control for Mantis, all things considered. Good clock management. As the CA4 is going to go out for Nova, but it will miss. Palu manages to evade it just ever so slightly. The gun that Palu's going to have in his hands will usually far outstrip that of the MPX that Valkyrie has. There you go. Down goes Nova, and you got control of Customs. You can begin to circle around the actual site and just simply wait. Nesk up top is still on a mission all and is lonesome. He's got some soft destruction. Here's the multiple phone calls, but I don't think he knows. There's a body right next to him in the soft destruction. The Jaeger is still seated there, and we're just going to wait patiently. Ness takes out NV Taylor as their Sweet Black to grab one, and it's a triple from Nesk up top. Oh my! What a play from Nesk to hold everything together. They just line right up. He tears through them all. They take a seat.
What a round.
It's a lead for Liquid.
A very impressive round there from Nesk, and because of that earlier clutch from Zig, we're looking like a pretty dominant performance here from Liquid so far. It's early days, though. Very early days. That round from Mantis FPS was a little all over the place. I really do have to say, I like the angle that Nesk opened up just inside of Armory. He knew he didn't need to take full control. And that's why, as many of you are probably wondering, why did Nesk not open up that soft wall leading into small office? It's because he wanted to play the angle to cut off the rotation between A and B. He played that angle, he got the first kill, followed it up with a hold upstairs trying to deny the roamers, and got 2 kills basically for free as the defenders walked to his crosshair. Nesk, in this match, has been absolutely on fire. And he is going to continue that here in the 3rd map with 7 kills over 3 rounds.
He and Zig were the only 2 members of his team that had kills prior to that round, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, go.
4 apiece as well.
Nesk got 3, Gohan and Paula got 1 each. So,
that makes 5.
Does it?
Fun fact, the same number of players on each team.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you over the gun. What?
The same number of players on each team. 5, Michael.
5, yeah, that's true. Droning into east stairs. Nova's going to take a little bit of a zap there from the drone of Gohan. That's, I mean, it's not exactly what you want to use Twitch for, but hey, you may as well since it's going to be destroyed. As soon as you are spotted, there's no reason not to. And obviously we'll get that drone, so at least it's not the end of the world for Mantis FPS, but he did lose a little bit of HP.
Swapping mags.
You got tased. Not exactly your best use of a tase.
Yeah, no, it's not a great use of a tase, but like I said, it's better than just losing it for nothing. Valkyrie, of course, such a powerful defender. Nova's going to be playing downstairs now, trying to use his cameras with the C4 from below.
This might be the longest it's taken Nest to be able to make it into the building as well.
Never mind.
What were you going to say?
I think I called Nova Navis.
It's okay, Michael. It's been a long day for you.
It has been a long day, yes.
And I mean, you did technically cast Navis as well.
I did cast Navis earlier today.
So that's there. That's one thing to consider.
But a big whoops anyway.
That's all right.
Sexy Kid going to be droning his way into offices. And he will spot the rotation holes. Those rotation holes, very important, as they will allow the defenders to influence a push into office.
Office takes are quite common nowadays. I feel like we see them a lot more than armory takes. You can just simply hold down Fountain. I don't know what Neilio was thinking there. Possibly going for either a rotate or to push outside, but Nesk is just going to wait. And that patience, greatly rewarded. I don't know, he sat there watching that doorway for 90 seconds.
Yeah, and I think that it's because he must have known that there would be somebody playing inside a break room. On a side note, the mechanics from Nesk today, absolutely phenomenal. I don't know if you've noticed, but he's actually playing better than he usually does. He's really on point, and he's got his teammates supporting him. They're aware of how on fire he is, and they're doubling down on droning for him. Somebody just cleared out this entire workshop and server, made the call to Nesk, so he can take control from below.
He just feeds off the information of his team, right? You know, it used to be PSK when he was on the roster, it was Sexy Cake, and now you've got Zig being able to give all that info that is needed. Oh no, a drop from Sweet Black, and Nesk will pick up his 2nd kill, and he's fired up. He's got 30 seconds to go. Down goes Zig, as Nesk is going to wander all the way up top, look for another body, but no, he somehow loses it as Nova comes out of nowhere. Able to help his teammate and avenge one. Hetty takes down Gohan, and well, Palu collecting 2 of his own as a failed reset from his opponent's team will allow Liquid to walk right in. It's going to be the Maestro in a great position with his phone ringing away, a disorienting blast from the logic bomb, but no! Palu looks the wrong way, and it will be a capitalization from Mantis FPS. Pick up their 2nd round and equalize against Liquid. And say what you will against both of these teams, it has been extremely even and back and forth, no matter what. These teams unshaking one from one another. 2-2, round 5.
That was very near to a Team Liquid win, and it seems as though all of these rounds are coming down to the wire. Again, Nesk's mechanics have been exceptional through this match, but he just isn't enough by himself to win an entire round every single time. And yeah, I think the lack of support from Liquid there onto Nesk when actually making a push up the main stairs might have been a problem, but you could also critique Nesk for dedicating himself, committing fully to pushing up the main stairs. It's generally a death sentence, and it ended up being the demise of Nesk and further his team. Now, Mantis FPS, having successfully defended Armory, gonna have to go back to Ventilation. They don't really have many options, but actually, correction, Customs.
10 seconds
I just
to go.
assumed they would go to Ventilation. I'll be honest with you, Parker, I didn't even check, but they're actually they're gonna actually rotate to Customs instead of hammering out Vent. To an extent, I understand it, because they've lost Vents twice.
Defender has left
But
the area of operation.
this is very dangerous. Customs is typically considered to be a pretty hard site to defend.
Yes.
And I don't think it's got a very good win rate either. I'm gonna double check, but I'm pretty sure it's low down there.
Pull out the stats, Michael. Crunch the numbers and let us know.
Yeah, it looks as though on border we've got Customs. So it's like, actually, wow. Huh, look at that. Surprise, every day it's the most successful site on this map, but it's also not played very often.
No.
So that's, the stats are a little skew.
Smaller sample size doesn't give you exactly the most reliable data.
Yeah, exactly. Only 14 times has it been played. This will be, I guess, the 15th.
Right. So, Valkyrie cameras aiding anybody to go for a possible run out, by the way. But it was Sweet Black who looked like he might make his push towards the front door. He gets spotted and tagged by Gohan's Twitch drone. And the Valkyrie will head back towards the end of Workshop. Just sit and wait and play around with those black eye cams that will give information to the rest of his team. Palu is likely spotted on those cams, providing that the one black eye cam is still out front. Should give information to the team in regards to the Zophia's play. Keep in mind that with those two concussive shots from the lifeline, anybody playing inside of security or monitors above will be very vulnerable to that. Hear a flashbang go in to possibly burn out any ADSs that might have been set down from
Attackers
Envy
dropped
Taylor.
the diffuser. Defender has
Speak
been
of,
discovered.
he pops out and he just shreds through Zig. Say goodbye to Nesk as well, as there's Hetty to grab one, but Gohan is in, he'll punish Nelio. He has full control of sight. Gohan is in the middle of the site, but he's got the Valkyrie behind him. How do you not see him, Gohan? Engage your eyes, my child. Palu eliminates Hetty, and Liquid now finds themselves in an advantage with Envy Taylor and Nova there. Envy Taylor takes down one, but it's a monstrous performance from Palu to grab two, and man, that looked like it had gone sideways for Liquid. They recover, and they recover very well. It's a good thing you've got that many players capable of carrying the weight in terms of fragging potential, and Liquid will regain the lead with Mantis taking a timeout at the right time.
So, that round. You know, okay, so as much as Gohan didn't see the Valkyrie, I was more surprised that Valkyrie didn't shoot Gohan. I mean, it was a bit of both, right? It went both ways, but darn, that was a meeting of the blind in that round. And Gohan was the first one to correct that mistake. Again, it's that uniform, though. Valkyrie was using the I guess
Basically invisible.
the camouflage uniform, we're calling it. By the way, if you want to know how to get a leg up playing this game, apparently, in the current state, use that seasonal skin that everybody in Pro League, or I guess
Stop.
no?
Stop.
You don't want me to tell
Stop
people?
it. Stop it.
It's pretty obvious if
Michael?
you just watch.
Identity theft is not a joke,
What?
okay? Millions of people are affected every year.
Tactical timeout for Mantis FPS. They're just taking a pause. They're trying to figure out what they need to do here. I don't blame them either. Every site that they've been going to, apart from Armory, has been a struggle and a half, and it looks as though they're going to commit to Customs once more. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest, but hey, both Ventilation and Customs are pretty poor for Mantis, so I don't blame them for either decision at this point, I suppose.
It was a very close round, though.
It was.
That Customs was a very, very close round.
That's totally fair. I do feel, though, that Customs is a little bit easier to attack in multiple ways. The way that Liquid just did, I mean, it was a bit of a rush strategy. They got away with it, a little bit lucky, especially Gohan making his push in there, no one watching for him. But there are other options for Team Liquid here, and while Mantis might be able to adjust to what Liquid just did, they might not be able to account for all of the potential that, or potential attack strategies that Liquid can bring out.
I know that you often
10 seconds
will
to insert.
turn a very inquisitive eye towards the 0 kills that exist in various
5
matches.
seconds
At times.
Neilio has none, and Sexy Cake have none right now. But Sexy Cake has been playing operators that are almost exclusively support operators. And those 9 kills that Nesk have, surely some of those don't happen without Sexy Cake.
No, you're absolutely right. And more than that, it's been a long series, Parker. Sexy Cake has had his standout performances. And it's not as though Nesk won't have matches where he's not going to get very many kills. You know, no matter who you are, no matter what position you're in, you're going to have some bad ones. And in a long series like this, we've already seen Sexy Cake perform really well. So I believe he's had some moments where he's stood up for his team, whether it's through his frags or it's through the utility. Doesn't really matter. Support play has been something of a trend for Sexy Cake. I remember when he first got brought onto the roster, people hailed him as the next fragger to work alongside Nesk, but he didn't frag as he wasn't put on those roles, and he's been put into a bit of a support slot. He's been doing a good job as a support player as well. I mean, Dokkaebi is one of those operators that can always be useful, and not hard to support as Dokkaebi. Just drone for your teammates, smoke when it's necessary, and call when you think it would be relevant.
Right. I mean, you don't have Liquid win the championship in Atlantic City without Sexy Cake being there to support his team.
Right.
And Sexy Cake played a fragging role when he played on Encore.
Yeah.
He played it when he was on the, I believe it was Merciless as well. So being able to enable it is what allows Ness to get the kill on the Heady right there. Neilio, of course, got one to start things off for Mantis FPS. C4 erupts at the feet of Nesk, but it will claim no damage or claim no life from the Ashmane. Using his own explosive, he'll open up some more of the floor, as Ness will be able to lope down. Palu with one of the explosive blasts, and no, say goodbye. Nova's completely blind and also incredibly deaf.
This is one of the best performances we've seen from Nesk in a long time individually, and yes, he's being supported, but darn, that is impressive, what he is able to gauge these fights. Now he has control of CCTV and plenty of time to use it. The Customs defense, this means everything. The fact that the defenders are far off-site is no surprise since they lost that vertical presence, and they're gonna have to commit to a retake strategy, which is very dangerous for the defense. Liquid's gonna open up from Passport, or at least they were trying to open up from Passport into Customs, but Mute Jammers are gonna say, no, you cannot do that. There should be the vertical presence to deny that, but we'll see.
So here you go. Finally, that exothermic charge will go off. Not a lot of time left to really work with here, as you're going to hear the timer start to tick away. Ness gets punished by NV Taylor, but a great read from Palu, who almost loses his life in the process. Plant going down from Zig. And well, would you look at that? Palu finished off from Neilio. Sexy Cake will need to cover for Zig. It's a whole bunch of bullets will rattle on out, and Liquid will just completely depart the site. Transfer into your post plant with the diffuser down successfully in the very final defense for Mantis. Started this series off with a lot of diffused plants, and well, hasn't really been all that much so far. Zig and Sexy Cake will both be able to grab a piece of Neilio, leaving Sweet Black in a position where the MPX will have to do as much work as it possibly can. A bit of a skirmish there, though, as now the Valkyrie peeks on up to the reinforced walls, and Sexy Cake holds a very nice angle very far back, and it's not close. Not as close as they'd like it to be. It's a 4-2 score line, 14 Liquid on their attack. The teams will transition, led into round number 7 with a side swap, and see how successful Mantis can be on attack, while Liquid will show what they can muster on defense.
So the story of that round, Paula and Ness taking control of CCTV, allowing for easy access in through Passport. Great job to Zig on the support play to open up the wall, then plant. Excellent cover from Sexy Cake as well to use the smokes and then hold in the post plant. Seriously impressive coordination on Team Liquid overall. The story for that half, Mantis can't defend anything other than Armory. End of story. So now that they get to transition onto attack, this could be very good for them, but that's going to depend on what kind of strategies they have to employ. Because if you can't defend anywhere other than Armory on border, then what kind of attack strategies are you going to be bringing to the table? Is the next question to be asked when having a conversation with Mantis FPS in this best of 3. I mean, we're so close to the end here.
It has been a marathon between these two teams.
Yes.
You know, you need all 12 rounds at map number 1. You need 14 out of 15 in the second.
Yeah. It's been a long one.
And right now, the way we're looking at it is if Liquid wins the next 3 rounds, we still have 10 of the 12 rounds that end up being played.
10 seconds to go.
It really, honestly, it really goes to show you how close all these teams are. It was assumed by a lot of people that Mantis was the weakest team coming into this tournament.
I think that's a safe assumption if you're going by conventional wisdom.
Yes.
But as we discussed earlier,
It's not always quite so conventional.
yeah, and I think that the saying of conventional wisdom, it's something that we can hold on to as a baseline for Siege, but it almost doesn't make sense.
Well, a lot of it also comes from the fact that not a lot of people who watch Pro League are able to tune into APAC Pro League.
It's true.
And Mantis playing in the Korean Pro League, you know, they haven't really played any games this season.
They are really a bit of a shadow scene.
Yes.
APAC isn't a very large unknown quantity for the majority of people. And so going into these, I mean, think about how it looks for somebody. Let's say you're a regional fan. You only follow LATAM, you only follow EU, or you only follow North America, and you have your team in that region.
Okay.
And then you see a team, Mantis FPS, one you've never heard of, not in your
Which
region.
team am I cheering for?
Whichever one out of your region it is.
Which region am I in?
It is beside the point.
This is very important.
The point I'm trying to get at here is, let's say that you have the team that you really like. You see a team like Mantis FPS, you've never heard them play. Okay, we'll put it on the back burner. Sweet Black, a vault into Archives. He's going to take out Zig, but he's refragged by Gohan. Not sure exactly what happened there from Sweet Black, but he must have droned that enemy. And able to take him down. That's an early frag for Mantis. It's an even exchange, though, all things considered. The Evil Eyes are locked in place, so that's going to be pretty bad for Team Liquid.
He just hops in, and he tries to hop out. But you lose Zig, you lose the Evil Eye cams.
Bomb located
That's
by attackers.
rough.
Right.
You lose probably the best gun on defense out of this lineup. Maybe the Carbine from Jaeger could possibly give it a
I
run.
think they're tied for first.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I'll finish my thought, by the way, at the end of the round, or later. But for the time being, Liquid now in a very tricky spot. They've got the C4s to hold on to the B-bomb site, which seems to be the main focus for Mantis FPS. But that's not exactly the most useful utility in terms of holding a bomb site. It'd be nice to have yokai drones, but those are banned. It'd be nice to have the Evil Eyes, but Maestro's dead. So it's gonna be a hard hold here on A.
Still the Valkyrie cameras available, don't get me wrong.
true.
You've also got the intel that is gathered from the sounds of the goo mines breaking. And let's not write off how important Legion can be.
Of
Right?
course.
So you open up the wall inside Archives, you're gonna have a nice long view on in. It's gonna be Nova, just lying there looking all the way as Envy Taylor's done his job and his part. You got Sexy Cake playing below, still has a Nitro Cell. You shoot out some of the floor and hey, would you look at that? You can toss the Nitro Cell right on up. It'll need to be a precise throw from the mute. Bit of hesitation from Nova to hop on in, and he'll get gunned down. A beautiful shot from Small Office. Nelio takes down Gohan, but it's 2 from Nesk.
10 seconds left.
The Jaeger will come out of nowhere, but Envy Taylor will stick the plant, just trying to transition into a post plan and make it a little bit easier. But no, Sexy Cake was waiting below. And like a jack in the box, the moment that Envy Taylor pops up, it's Sexy Cake who slaps him right back down. That'll be easy finish for Sexy Cake.
Get him.
He wants it.
Get him, Paula.
He wants
Take
it.
him out.
He wants it.
Take him out, Paula.
He's gonna get it.
You gotta do it.
Can't do it.
He's not gonna avenge his
Not gonna
fate.
do it.
Wow.
No honor.
Rude. All right. So
He's shaking the horse, and Nesk does not look happy at all.
hey, stats matter, man. But yeah, okay. So that's that round in particular. We had a retake strategy established by Liquid. They were reliant on those C4s, but they didn't even need to use them as it just came down to the frags, which was curious. Mostly just Liquid adapting to the situation as it evolved. Good job to Liquid. Mantis FPS, a little bit too much investment there in one specific location. Maybe a little bit of side pressure, maybe cutting off rotation between sites could have worked out. Maybe clearing out underneath where there were so many Liquid players. That round aside, though, Mantis FPS, coming out of APAC, Shadow Region, it's an unknown factor, and I don't blame people for expecting them to lose going into a group like this. I seriously don't. I think it makes sense when you just don't know. Just an unknown quantity. I mean, you expect your super team to be able to take them down, and yeah, I mean, Mantis, the thing that people don't think about, don't expect, is that Mantis FPS, like all the other teams that are coming out of APAC, are practicing as fiercely as they can, similar to the other teams in other regions. So, yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye out for in the future. And I think we've seen APAC prove themselves many times
10
before.
seconds to go.
I'll say in Rio they really did.
You know who's the real winner here?
Who dat?
Mockin.
Oh yeah?
Well, Mockin's going to play the winner of this matchup.
New feed.
You're going to have so much footage.
That's true.
Watch.
And on the 3 different maps too.
You already beat Liquid. You have that footage you can go back to if that's who you end up facing. You got,
Right.
You're going to have 5 maps from Mantis, in both the way that G2 played them
Yeah.
and here. Like, you got stuff at your disposal, you know?
No, you're absolutely right.
Attackers have located a bomb.
I gotta imagine that
And they were eliminated in today's matchup really early by G2, so very nice of G2 to give them lots of time to prep.
yeah, I gotta imagine they're watching this right now and they're like, oh, who are we gonna be playing against? What are we gonna be doing? Eh?
Yeah.
And so they're probably way ahead of schedule on VOD review and doing live review.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, look at this, we can counter it right here. So yeah, that is a huge advantage. Well,
Live VOD review.
well put, Parker. So
Thank you, Michael.
Nova doing a Nesk, and he's gonna walk into main hallway. He's got teammates to support him though, so that's a little bit abnormal. Nobody's droning for him, but he sees the hole, pushes
He's
into
in
sight,
sight.
and he has full control of Workshop. The plant's going down, it's a whole rush, and nobody knows! But he's gonna go right by an enemy! Zig is on the other side of server, but the diffuser gets planted! Zig will relocate and take down Nova because he was just too cautious. Nelio eliminates Gohan, and that's a refrag in a post-plant. The attacker should have this easily. It's plant to default. Nelio and Sweetblack get more kills. Nesk able to refrag onto Nelio, finally shutting him down, but Hetty with the final 2. And what a round from Mantis FPS. What did they do?
They droned, they saw there's no one in sight, and they went in guns a-blazing.
Easy peasy. They just walked in.
I correct myself. They did not go in guns a-blazing because there was nobody in the damn
They just
site
walked
to
in.
shoot.
They just walked in.
They just waltzed right in. Michael, you know what they call it?
What? Free?
It's free real estate.
Free real estate. It's free.
They're giving it away. All right? We're just going to have a tactical timeout here, or a technical timeout, rather.
Yeah, so
call it.
apparently we've got a sound bug, so we're fixing it. The engineers are working. We should have that solved soon. Or at least, hopefully we'll have that solved soon.
Yeah.
Seems to be on the side of Mantis FPS, so likely not influencing the outcome of that last round, which is important to note.
Doesn't matter what year we are in, how far into the future we are, but the primary method of communicating will always be walkie-talkies.
What? Oh, you mean, oh, yeah, like at a LAN event? Mm-hmm. I've actually never used one in a practical way. Like, I remember I had a set when I was a kid, but I've never actually used one for work or anything like that.
Right. The real winner here, though, is Liquid being able to recover after that pretty embarrassing loss of that round.
Yeah, they definitely should have had the previous round, but taking that attack onto ventilation, it was an interesting one for Mantis, to be sure. I think it just comes down to Liquid not having their defaults covered, which is more embarrassing than anything, I have to say.
Yeah.
Looks like we get back into the match.
You got to go back to workshop. How about this? How about you put more than one body on site?
Yeah, that would be good. I mean, technically,
Probably a smart idea.
They had 2 bodies on site. Just one was on the wrong site at that moment. So it was just Zig holding on to workshop, and he wasn't actually doing that.
Bombs.
He was over by servers, so it doesn't really count. Now, with 14 kills, Nesk has actually not really been too present over the last few rounds. It's important to note. Or the last couple rounds, I suppose, to be fair to Nesk. Hopefully that will change for Team Liquid if you are a Team Liquid fan. Mantis FPS, on the other hand, great recovery in that last round. They have constantly been fighting back. But you know what I've noticed, Parker? It always feels like Mantis FPS are the ones on the back foot.
You think so?
Throughout the entire match, it just felt that way to me, yes.
Like
Just
almost,
very slightly.
like even in the rounds where they're winning and they seem to have command.
Attackers are moving
I mean,
out
okay,
to
look at that
locate
last
a bomb.
round, for example. There's a beautiful read.
Okay.
They managed to get their way into sight. Fantastic call. I love that they pulled that off. But it's also a one-off. There's no way that Liquid lets that happen 2 times in a row. So they managed to up their round count. If they hadn't come up with an ingenious strategy like that, we would be at match point right now, 6-2. But that's the point that I'm trying to get at, is it feels like Mantis have to work around Liquid. And thus, Mantis have always felt like the ones on the back foot. What happens when they run out of these creative ideas? What happens when they stop getting these amazing clutches off of tremendous individual gunplay? It's been the story for Mantis. That's how they won the last map. If you remember that final attack under the basement, they shouldn't have won it, but they did. Why? Because Mantis just outgunned Team Liquid, and it was impressive, certainly.
Imagine outgunning Team Liquid. How strange that is to just hear.
It is strange to hear. I agree with you, Parker, but that's what happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
you know what Liquid's doing a much better job this time around of?
holding their flank,
Actually sitting on the site,
they have cover,
also holding their flank.
and they're not going to need to worry
A
about a rush.
multitude of things that they're better at right
Yeah,
now.
they're definitely covering all the bases.
But you've also realized that Mantis is also looking a little bit of a different way.
Yeah.
Utility coming in, as you can hear one of the arrows from Hetty going off. Nova's going to have a bit of safety at that double door, to be completely honest, towards the main lobby, because it's reinforced.
The freedom of access into customs has been noted by Mantis FPS, and it is actually incredibly relevant. There's also a lot of soft walls that he could have worked with if he had breaching rounds. What did I miss?
No, just that you got the soft walls.
Yeah.
If he hadn't used it on Jail, which he really didn't even need to use it on Jail, he could have possibly walked in through Passport.
This is Sophia, so there is possibility for some soft destruction
If she still has the explosives left, then surely this
Which
is
is a
something that
maybe.
Nova might be calling.
Oh, a foot is spotted and a leg as well, but not enough damage. You gotta have patience in those situations, Nova. He's not gonna move until you shoot him, but if you may go for a spray, he might get away.
Gohan, with this double door, though, will give his position away, as you noted, Michael. So he'll try to head in through Tellers. Just watching the double doors and a Nitro Cell will open up a path, possibly inside a Passport. Nova takes out Zig, Nest takes out Sweet Black, and both teams will lose one. But here you have it again. Nova is in sight, holding down the hatch, waiting to see if the Maestro is going to drop. There's an Evil Eye waiting. NV Taylor in the midst of a plan. Oh, a great read from Palu. And he sees the Thermite, and right as it's about to go down, Liquid would be able to take control of the site. That's a very lucky read on their part. Good coordination. Hetty from above. Sees the Maestro, but not working with an awful lot of time. 10 seconds, drops the hatch, survives. Oh, Hetty can possibly win this in a 2v1, but will need to grab the diffuser, and running out of time, it'll be a frag chase, and it'll be Liquid who ends up making it to the finish line first. The Brazilian team trying not to meet the same fate as their fellow countryman in Ninjas in Pajamas managed to push themselves to match point. And Mantis are one round away from being another team to head home.
So what happened there? The adjustment from Team Liquid was in. You can't have that clever strategy if it's a known quantity, and Mantis FPS were unable to exploit it this time around. They also had a distinct lack of the necessary utility to take advantage of the exposure that was those unreinforced walls from the main hallway, which was, you need the soft destruction, man. And it's unfortunate when you see it happen. Ash, if able, probably could have done a lot of work with those walls, probably could have got a pick onto the Valkyrie who was playing inside a workshop. But apart from that, the clear onto the top floor from Mantis was not great. They managed to get control with 11 seconds left. That's just not enough time for one person to clutch against 4. So, yeah, unfortunate there. Mantis FPS, forgetting about the vertical play, it ended up working heavily against them. And Liquid, great adjustment to hold onto the site.
Fun fact for you, Michael.
Oh, yeah?
If Mantis is the team who ends up eliminated, then we will see one team from every one of the 4 regions leave us today, because our next match is Penta versus Lestream. And that means that it is a guaranteed EU team that will be departing from the group stages. We've already had a North American team in Rogue, a bit of a shocker. We already had Ninjas in Pajamas, also a bit of a shocker. You have Mantis, you lose one from APAC. And then you'd have one European team, either Penta or Lestream.
You're absolutely right. Will be crazy if it happens, but Mantis could still bring it back. It's going to be difficult. With the way Liquid has been playing, I don't see it as likely. Liquid landing a lot of their shots, working better as a cohesive unit, and Mantis FPS seriously struggling to hit that same mark. Every single round that Mantis wins feels like it's one person standing apart. quite literally, from the rest of his teammates and outshining them all, getting those frags. Yeah, and again, it's really unfortunate. I don't know if it's just the game plan from Mantis or that they don't have enough synergy for the coordination to be natural to them. If you really take a step back, Liquid's got a lot of experience. Their synergy is locked in. They've been playing together for a long time.
But yet they've still made a lot of mistakes.
That's true. They have made a lot of mistakes.
They have made a wealth of mistakes in that market matchup, and today, again, they have repeated many of them against Mantis.
I don't disagree. I'm just comparing them to Mantis as it stands from this match, and the synergy from Liquid is my main reason why they're taking this right now. Yes, Nesk has got a lot of kills, but that's not all of the equation. And again, he's being supported to get those kills. His mechanics are on, but so are Paula's. I mean, all of Liquid have been playing really well. Zig is going to get downed, and he could be finished off here in just a moment. It doesn't look like there's much defense on the Armory entrance here, and it looks like Mantis has full control. Because of that, A left undefended. Zig is recoverable, but it's going to be a difficult recovery for Liquid, that's for sure.
Very much so, and look at that. Liquid will read it correctly, leave Zig for dead, but pick up 2 as they trade him off. Envy Taylor's getting the plant down. Sexy Cake has lost control. He doesn't really have a way to get back in. Toss out a C4. Will it hit? It will, but not enough damage done to Envy Taylor. Where are Gohan and Palu? That's the real question right now as Gohan comes to the rescue. And Palu will rotate on over. But that hesitation is a big problem. Envy Taylor goes down. There's only 1 left, and there you have it. An easy finish off and a valiant effort and strong run from the APAC qualified Mantis FPS. But Liquid will survive yet again a tremendous scare, set themselves up on a rematch against the German market tomorrow